Oliver, welcome in. Second here. Pen color. I need another mouse, I think. No, it's in the wrong spot. I gotta like move it around the room. There we go. Okay. Welcome in. Welcome in. Oliver asks, how's the eye? It's doing okay. I can actually see today. Which is nice. There's still some weirdness to it because it's a little blurry and my pupil is huge. But yeah, overall having depth perception again is pretty cool. So I'm happy with that. We're gonna hope that it stays on being good. Hopefully I'll just keep getting better over the next couple days. So that's the plan. Welcome in, everybody. It is Wednesday. It's Friday. It's Friday today. My whole week has been splattered. Yeah, it's the Wednesday live stream on Friday. So let's get this going. I don't think I do have a Discord on here, so people probably have no idea who I'm talking to. We'll do that. Give me a test.
Test.
Okay.
1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1.
Okay, Discord should be working. That's good. We got the chat popped out. We got the Discord set up. I have to not touch my face today. Hooray for vision. Good to hear that you're better. Well, better. I'm getting better. Yes, I agree. Thank you. Not quite there yet. I still can't like do anything for the next week. I have to sleep with a weird eye case so I don't touch my eyeball in the night. It's gonna be a weird week. But the whole concept of eye surgery gives me the creeps. Yeah, same. It was not a fun experience to say the least, but
Wait,
yeah.
Puppeteer, you're Australian? Why are you up? Like, why are you here?
That is pretty late.
Yeah.
Or early, depending. I will say I wish I had done this surgery months ago, but yeah, whatever. Hindsight. We're gonna start with the rugby today. We don't have that many suggestions this week, which is fine. But if people have not suggested one yet, you're very welcome to post it now. We'll put it on the list. Yeah, we're just gonna hang out. It's gonna be pretty chill today, I think. And I don't really have anything else. That's all I got. I'm exhausted. My eyeball still feels weird.
Oh, it does not surprise me.
I thought it was late in England, damn. I have several Avi friends who are still up at the moment. Granted, they don't have a sleep schedule. That's fair. This is going to be the first rugby I've drawn with two eyes for a while. So that'll be interesting.
Let's
see if anything
what,
changed.
Bri, are you collecting gremlins now? Also good to see you in the chat.
Oh, am I in the wrong chat for Discord? I am. Bri, welcome in. Hello. Suggestions. Gremlin Sorcerer, Gremlin Wizard, Gremlin Warlock. Excuse me. Didn't want me to clear my throat right in the microphone. There's a funny, not funny, haha, but like strange thing that's happening where I make a lot of faces when I draw, especially when I draw rugby.
Yep.
And every time I like overexert my eye to open it, it just hurts. It's like, oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't scoosh the eyeball. Yeah, boop.
How do I want to do this? Never have too many. I think that there are movies about gremlins that would prove that statement false.
Never too many gremlins. Those of us awake at this time don't have sleep schedules. I mean, you could. When I was like 19, I worked at a Hollywood video. So my sleep schedule was close the store at 2 a.m., go home, watch a movie, go to bed at like 4:30 or 5, wake up at noon. Like, that was my sleep schedule. So it's just different. It's just different for different folks. It's nice to be back, chilling to the relaxing music, watching weird and somewhat disturbing fantasy creatures being drawn. What a way to spend a Friday. Hell yeah. When I try to draw a face, I find myself doing expressions I try to draw. Yeah, it's pretty normal.
Yeah.
A lot of animators will do that without thinking about it. There's lots of jokes about it.
Yeah. It's it's a lot of fun being an art model actually, because you get to watch artists do that, especially like if you're doing an interesting like face or pose for animators or illustrators.
Yep. On a side note, the Star Thieves game, which I've been doing the sci-fi art stuff for, is almost done for their like pre-production. So I might start seeing some stuff from that. I posted a 3D model turnaround that one of the 3D modelers did. It was really good. I was really happy with that. I like seeing my stuff get turned into 3D models. So that's in the art share if you want to check that out. I don't think they have their web presence up yet, but whenever it does pop up, I will I'll make sure to post it. We can go check that out. There we go. How did everybody's week go? It must have been interesting not having a Wednesday stream. As for now, I'm not good at art. I mean, you can always get better. Art is always a process of getting better.
Yeah. My practice this week has gone in such a way that I also believe that I'm not good at art. And if you're going to call bullshit on me, then you should just be aware that that feeling never goes away no matter how good you are. So,
Yep.
if you feel like you're not good at art, maybe you're good at art and just can't see it.
I will always find people on like Instagram and Twitter that just have amazing line art, and it's just like, wow, I suck. I suck at art. New uni this week's been chill. Nice. We're having a fun weekend off, or week off, I guess. Whenever I draw, I just look faintly confused, trying to figure out what I've made. I mean, that's not the way to do it too.
Yeah. Well, like that's part of it. Just you want to get good at art. The process involves figuring out what you're doing and what you don't like about what you're doing and changing it.
Oh, multiverse gremlins. That's right, they put the multiverse in the fighting game. I forgot about that. I didn't play it. They put the multiverse. They put the gremlins in there. I played it for like 10 minutes and then I just put it away. I was like, nope, not for me.
I never really watched the Gremlins movie. Like, I've mostly just seen clips of it, and I feel like I've seen enough that I kind of vaguely have an idea about it, but also I was kind of confused that they're doing an animated... Is it like a show or a movie? I can't even tell, but I've seen commercials for it.
I think it's a show. I'm surprised Gremlins didn't get a cartoon show. Like, for all the 90s shows that people turned into cartoons,
Oh yeah,
the Gremlins
100%.
thought would have been on there.
I mean, they turned Starship Troopers into a kids'
Oh, yeah.
Saturday morning cartoon, and that movie was not for kids.
Space Marines fighting bugs, like that was perfect for 90s cartoons.
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad that that cartoon existed, but
Roughnecks.
not really for kids.
I think I'm gonna have a gnarly black eye tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or rugby. All right. Excuse me. Could get a 3D printer and articulated joints. That could be fun. Just call up. Oh man, how do I always do this? Seth MacFarlane? That's not right. McFarlane Toys. Todd McFarlane. Call Todd McFarlane. Like, hey, Gremlins? I think they actually make Gremlins. Now that I think about it. McFarlane Toys would be the ones to make those if they did exist. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for the good vibes over the week. I do appreciate it. We are going to get back into the swing of things of doing viewer suggestions. I have the list here. What we will do if you are new is people suggest characters for D&D characters to draw over the week. And I'm going to roll some dice. We're going to draw them. And that's it. That's it. That's how easy it works. So I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready to start. I need to make sure I'm not closing my right eye today. Because like everything's still a little blurry. So my inclination has been for the last month to just hold my eye closed. But when I do that, it feels bad. So I'm going to try not to do that today. See how long we can last. Whoop. Where's my dice? Where are my dice? We only have 12 today. Surprisingly small. But also understandable.
Yeah.
Looks like we're going to go purple.
Means you can spend a little bit more time.
Yeah. Looks like we're going to go purple today. Ooh. A 6. Ifrit Tabaxi Fathomless Warlock. That's pretty good. I like that. Reading is still a little difficult. It's rolling time. Looks like we're going purple. We'll end that first poll. Start a new one.
If reading is still difficult, it just means you get to listen to more audiobooks instead.
That's true. Okay. The audacity of it. -2 charisma for all rolls. I have disadvantage. It's funny. Uh-oh. I completely forgot what I was supposed to be drawing already. It was an Ifrit something.
Fathomless Warlock?
Tabaxi. Firecat. Ifrit Tabaxi. I don't know what that's going to look like yet.
I mean, the easy thing to do is just to give them a lion's mane, right?
Oh, that's true. I could do that. Is there a fire cat Pokemon? There's got to be.
There is a fire lion Pokemon.
It is a lion? Well, alright.
Yep.
There we go.
There's also Litten.
Is that a fire kitten?
Well, that's a fire lion cub.
Little tiger.
That's not how anything works. course.
Oh no,
hold
like
on.
you're right. You're right. Litten is the
Starter one.
starter. Yeah, he's got the alchemical symbol on his forehead for black sulfur, which is extremely explosive.
Black sulfur?
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Or is that just
Believe so.
gunpowder?
I'm not 100% sure.
Black sulfur. Hmm. I might have to move a little slower today, I'm realizing. The more I zip around my eyeballs, the less things feel good. So I'm gonna take a very slow day. I was rereading Lord of the Rings before bed for the last couple months. Just like 15 minutes at a time. And something strange happened, and I'm on Return of the King. And I got to a part that I just don't remember. It's like, what the fuck are they talking about right now? And I just have no idea what's going on. And I'll have to figure that out. Favorite Tolkien book? I like The Hobbit a lot. I think I prefer The Hobbit, but Fellowship of the Ring's pretty good. There was something I wanted to do. Oh yeah, I was just going to try to draw with a much smaller pen.
Good.
Things
I'm
get
incredibly happy because Paizo has read my mind.
I saw that they changed some of the character classes around.
Wait, what?
Those antennas is what?
That's their name.
Whose antenna is askew?
Also known as 10. They're bringing an insect race
Nice.
to second edition. That's not the Trox.
Gotcha.
Very cool. They look like pill bugs. A little bit.
Yeah,
Creepy.
they're.
I like it.
From what I've looked at it, there's going to be a awakened animal ancestry.
Okay, that's fun.
There's a new type of fish person that's like more fish than person. And then there's merfolk
Nice.
coming. And obviously centaurs and minotaurs.
Very cool. Runesmith? No, maybe not Runesmith. Shoot. I watched a video this morning that was titled, the thumbnail was like, they're changing fighter. Or, please, Paizo, don't change fighter. And then I tried to skim through it, and I couldn't find out what the hell they were talking about. So.
Oh. So yeah, they did PaizoCon
Yeah.
last weekend?
I think that was like 2 or 3 days ago, yeah.
Yeah, they're changing some things about fighter. But I don't think it would affect your character.
Well, I don't care if it does. But I just want to know. I prefer The Hobbit over Lord of the Rings. No real reason, just don't like Frodo. I think that's fair. Like, Frodo's struggle with the ring is a lot more it's dramatic. I like the ring as like a cursed object that has to be carried. But The Hobbit is very much more kind of lighthearted, and I like it a little more. For the same reason.
Yeah. Bilbo had fun on his adventure and liked it, and it basically changed his worldview and made him a better person.
Frodo's
suffered. Adventure destroyed him.
Yeah.
He suffered PTSD. Like, he suffered super magic PTSD for the rest of his existence. It was so bad he was allowed to die early and go to the heaven of the elves.
I mean, that's close enough for how it works.
Roto is basically Tolkien's kind of proxy in the book, so
Samwise is so much better. Yeah,
they
Sam's good. Sam's real hero of the Lord of the Rings.
Oh, 100%.
they're getting rid of schools of magic because it's too tied to D&D, so they're changing that up.
Good.
Is that the thing
And
about
just
the whole like primal versus?
no, so it's
No?
like there's no longer going to be like evocation or illusion.
Interesting.
They're not going to be parsed up like that. They're going to be things like college of morphing or something like that. I can't remember the exact terminology they used.
Interesting.
So they're removing an entire trait called the open trait, which wasn't intuitive. They found it wasn't necessary, and turns out it was not being flexible enough what they wanted it to be, so they're just doing away with that.
The open trait?
Yes, there was apparently a type of trait that fighters had on certain feats called open, and it was... I didn't know it existed. So.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, nobody in our game has even touched a
Yeah.
fighter or like discussed playing a fighter as far as I'm aware. Which, you know what, I'm a little bit disappointed in, Rook. You always claim to be a basic bitch who loves to play a human fighter, and here we are. I'm calling you out.
I specifically did not make one, like, because that was my first inclination. When we started playing Pathfinder 2, I was like, no, I don't get to play the game very often. I'm gonna fucking try something weird. I've been fighting my own instincts. You know what I'm playing in Kevin, the Necromancer's game?
Oh, what?
A human fighter.
I thought you were playing...
Oh, human cleric, sorry. No, that's... Sorry. Yes, okay. So, Kevin the Necromancer is doing a campaign right now. It's gonna have 4 or 5 sessions. And then Lars is starting a new campaign. So I already have the cleric built out for that. I am playing investigator with Kevin. So I was being a little hyperbolic. But I'm doing a human cleric. Maybe I'll do a Kamrasu cleric. I don't know. Turns out I like playing people. That's the thing I've discovered about myself.
Apparently they're adding a bunch of crossbow feats to Ranger.
Oh, I thought they were already there. I thought they were interchangeable. That's interesting.
Yeah, same.
Or I guess the crossbow feats were for the gunslinger.
Yeah, crossbow feats were for gunslinger. Because bows, technically, even though they do have a reload thing, it's a free action to reload a normal bow, while a crossbow is a single action. Or 2 if it's a big heavy crossbow, I think.
Gotcha. I was talking to somebody about
go ahead.
I was talking to somebody about... It might have been one of you two. About the wizard. Crossbow wizard.
Yes,
I
I remember that.
We were talking about cantrips. That's what it was. And I was saying that, the cool thing about crossbows is that anybody can use them. But that also made them kind of prerequisites for wizards in older editions, if you didn't have any spell slots left.
Yeah. I was not privy to that conversation, but I do know what you're talking about. And
yeah,
you're right, yeah.
They're adding a new crossbow, martial crossbow, because there's actually not a lot of martial crossbows. I think there's 1.
Should just be the heavy crossbow, I thought. What else?
I think you're right.
Okay.
But they're hand crossbows and light crossbows are simple weapons.
Yeah.
And then you have I think 1 advanced crossbow, which is the Kamrasu weapon. They're making rogues just be able to use any type of martial weapon they want.
One of choice or anyone ever?
Any.
Okay.
You just proficient in martial weapons.
Interesting.
Considering how skill muley and intelligence based they are, I approve of that.
I feel that
they're also revising the rackets to make them accommodate specific weapon groups.
Okay. There you go. That's
So-
what I was going to say. Like, to me, because they have so many skill options, they really should be specializing in something. So,
Depending
That
on
makes
your
sense.
racket will kind of determine like what weapons you're good at over
Yeah.
others.
that's fine. I think that works really well then.
Because they put out a lot of like weapons that they kind of wanted rogues to have in the treasure vault,
Mm-hmm.
but they never updated the rules saying that the rogue could have them. So they're just like, we'll just make it where they can have all marshals.
That makes sense.
Weapons. Which familiars are now getting special powers depending on what patron they have.
Oh, the patron. Interesting. Okay.
So, because that's the
Yeah,
big thing
'cause-
about witches.
Well,
Is,
I mean, they're kind of like refocusing on everybody's patrons as well, right? Because like they're scrapping the alignment system as well.
That's right.
So like clerics are also getting a lot more flavor based on their patron and their patron's anathema and edict, whatever. Like,
Mhm.
so they're
Mhm.
like they're doing more with that. So it totally makes sense to me that they would do more patron stuff for witches as well.
Family.
Yeah, so like
Forgot about that.
there's things, so like they give examples for the winter patron. So you, the special power a familiar of the winter patron would have is Silent and Snow,
Nice.
which freezes the ground around it whenever you cast a spell.
Oh,
you-
very cool. I like that.
Yep.
I'm the kind of guy who just wants to watch the internet argue for fun. It doesn't matter if I understand the topic. I just want to see them argue for fun, like watching scientists fight over black holes. I'm not like that.
Yeah, me neither. We're not gonna have that argument. So
Yeah.
sorry.
Corvus and I had a pretty like heated discussion last week, but it ended up with us being like, yeah, okay.
And I hated
actually,
every
yeah,
last
no,
bit
I
of
agree
it.
with you. Yeah.
I don't remember what it's about, so it doesn't matter anymore.
Oh, this is cool. Another thing that familiar, I think all familiars will have these two options. One of them's called Patron's Presence. Makes it harder for your foes to cast spells.
Interesting.
Your familiar is next to them.
It's kind of
That's
cool.
cool.
That's a benefit to
Yeah.
throwing your pet out there instead of just like, I attack for the D4 damage. So,
It also makes I like it because it also, like, in my mind, adds something to fear, something more to fear about witches. Makes them a mage class that's potentially you can build for do a mage killer build, which is
Yeah.
something that I always love to do.
something
Okay, so-
that I thought was interesting is like in the old version, based on whatever, like whatever you wanted your familiar to look like, gave you a stat boost. They don't do that anymore. And I don't know if that's because people were basically just min-maxing with it and not using it for flavor, but I'm kind of interested in what they would do with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So finding out the wizard here. So kind of their working thing for wizards is like curriculum. So you have like the School of Battle Magic, which involves things like Fireball, but also Earthbind. Like spells useful for military wizards.
Nice.
That's
Uh,
cool.
Yeah.
School of Civic Wizardry lets you build walls and summon constructs.
I kind of guffaw at that, but also like I kind of love that.
So far, my favorite one they've mentioned, but this is always subject to change, is the School of Protean Form.
Protean
Deals
form.
with biological manipulation magic, like plant spells, gouging claw, stuff like that.
Hmm.
So transmutation and magic
Yeah.
and things related to that.
So it sounds like they're kind of keeping things relatively the same, but swapping around
A lot of terminology.
terminology. Yeah, because like abjuration is just going to be civics. It's kind of interesting.
And a few conjuration stuff.
Yeah.
So they're breaking up the schools in more of thematic
that making
Forces a study.
Yeah.
yeah, making spells of like making spell schools that kind of surround or revolve around common
Uses?
uses rather than common like theming, I guess.
Yeah. Because like Earthbind, it's a thing of transmutation spell, and it's like lumped in with battle magic, with fireball and stuff like that. So things that a war wizard would use.
That makes kind of sense. Yeah.
Control the battlefield.
We'll see how that goes. I'm sure they'll do a good job with that. They
Apparently-
usually do. Clearly, gravitational manipulation is actually a teardrop shape. I don't agree with that. Imagine how magic disputes like it's a gathering for wizards. Oh yeah, like wizards constantly just bickering about stupid stuff.
Yeah. And all gravitational fields, as far as I am aware, based on discussions I've had with my brother, who is a astrophysicist, gravitational fields are toroidal. They're donut shaped. Magnetic fields too, actually.
Apparently, they're giving wizards more weapon proficiencies as well.
Crossbow
going to
wizard.
Interesting.
Make some errata for the Magus stuff. So
I feel like they would just get access to all the battle magic.
yeah. And the reason they're kind of giving wizards more weapons is because they're kind of pulling more from the Rune Lord stuff. They all had weapons. So,
Yeah.
so it's like weapons also get wizards get weapon proficiency. So frying pan wizard is a go.
So that's something that I've
Right.
really enjoyed in the past, and that was one of the reasons. Like, I like Nathus. Nathus had some pretty cool functionality for like using your int towards weapon skills. Like you can only do it so many times a day. So I like Wizards of Nathus and Clerics of Nathus because they're essentially just like magic should be used for everything, creating and destroying things. And it's like, yes, I'm on board. So gravity mages would have to know that. 16 strength Giga Chad wizard. I still have to make that.
Yeah.
I still have to make the strength wizard.
I
One of
was
these
just gonna
days.
say, I wonder how that's gonna affect your Stir Wizard build.
Probably be a lot easier, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right, I think I'm done with this floofy boy. He needs more fire runes on him. Maybe his elbows will also be smoking. Yeah, I definitely think my pen will sometimes get a little too thick like that, and like you can get some really cool sketches, but like it makes my art suffer, and I think that's something I've been noticing more and more. So I'm gonna try really hard to get back into the pencil sketching of like, oh, yep, nope, I have to push really hard to get a thick line. So, School of Magic Muscle, yeah.
They're also changing clerics up a bit more, so
Nice. Clerics are a little strange right now in 2E. Fun,
yeah.
very fun, but like they're kind of strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're actually buffing up the War Priest doctrine because from like feedback they got, they realized that no one was really taking it, and
Yeah.
they were going with Cloistered and then just like taking Sentinel so they could get heavy armor.
Yep, that's what I did. That's what I did. Because yeah, the War Priest doctrine basically just gives you armor, and it's like I don't give a shit. I'm not gonna be in the front. I'm not a tank.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna make my spells super badass. I'm like, which is fine. But yeah, the War Priest doctrine I think should give you access to like all martial weapons, armor, at least specific martial weapons would be fine. Like for your deity maybe. But I think other things give you that too. So as well as like some kind of defensive magic. It should make your magic better in some way for battle, and it doesn't. It's just like here's a free feat, but you lose your spells. It's like I don't want that. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. So what they said they're going to do right now always subject to
Sexual
change.
harassment.
They're going to give clerics with the War Priest Doctrine master proficiency in their deity's favorite weapon and expert in all other martial weapons.
Perfect. That's awesome.
Yep. They also had a bunch of new feats, blah blah blah. War Priest now can have heavy armor without needing to archetype into getting heavy armor. So
I like that. It's not everything in second edition Pathfinder, but there are a couple of things that I look at how the classes are built, and I think to myself, this is potentially really good, but there's not enough base stuff here. There's not enough stuff that the class just gets. It's all stuff that you have to take class feats to get.
yeah.
I want to read this, and I'll read it in its entirety. So I'm poking fun at you a little bit, whoever suggested this, but at the same time, I like this suggestion, and I'm going to draw it. First off, it starts with, good luck with the operation and post-op suggestion. Thank you. I appreciate that. Female air genasi artificer forms mostly clouds and air, leaving face appearingly devoid of features beyond the eyes and eyebrows. Backpack. That's the part that made me laugh. It's like I was reading that probably because my vision is shit right now. But the three features of the face that are visible are the eyes, eyebrows, and backpack, and I thought that was really funny.
Backpack.
Well, you don't carry a backpack on your face?
Has mechanical arm to hold up mage stuff. So very cool. I'm gonna draw that one. That's what we're drawing next. An artificer with a face backpack. Delete. This one. Yes. Okay. Yes, I've watched the new video, but you have considered purple. What time is it? In 30 minutes, I have to go pour more drugs in my eyeball.
Here's the post link where I got that picture at, Druid.
Awesome. Thank you.
I guess my question is this going to be the stuff in the new book?
These new ancestries that are coming out,
Mm-hmm.
that with the bug person I shared earlier, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
It's coming out in 2024.
Okay.
When? I do not know. That's all they said. Things have got shuffled around, and so it's coming out earlier than they expected.
But that's going to be the second edition of the core rulebook, or whatever the hell they were calling it.
So these ancestries are going to be like part of the Howl of the Wild, which is a new thing.
Just a completely new book. Got it.
Yep. And the second edition, or the 2.5 version coming out, or whatever they want to call it, rework.
It's the revised, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe.
Is, I think, coming out maybe be sometime next year as well. So I doubt it's coming out this year. But I could be wrong. Because coming out this month, they have another lore book for dwarves coming out.
Cool.
Then in August, there's the Rage of Elements, which I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, that'll be pretty neat.
Get that as a birthday present for myself. And then I think at the end of the year, we're getting the Tian Sha books, which is 2 of them. And
Are we just a Pathfinder channel now? Is that what's going on?
I mean,
you've always been a Pathfinder.
I've always
channel.
been. Yeah, but are we
What
like just Pathfinder now?
It's all I'm interested in. Well, no, that's not true. Somebody posted something, a Kickstarter for a new system, or was that in our other chat?
I know.
Was that in our game chat? Dagon posted something, yeah.
Gotcha. I was just being
Think.
facetious, anyways. But
No, there's a couple other systems that I'm interested in that are not WotC related. But most of what I'm seeing come out is actually departing pretty heavily from like the
yeah,
5e related.
I think there was 5e. I think was really, really comfortable.
Yeah.
And because of the open source license for so long, like there was so much stuff, and people didn't have to iterate. You know, like it didn't have to. And over the last couple of years, there have been a ton of people trying to create new services or new game services is the wrong word. Systems,
new systems. Yeah.
But like every time someone's like, okay, I've created this brand new complicated system, everyone's like, why would I do that at 5e? So
yeah.
I think the fact that Wizards kind of screwed the pooch to the point where people are willing to try those new systems, there's going to be a lot of new ones, and it's going to be really cool. It's going to be a good time for tabletop RPGs in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Which
I need to look more into Cobalt Press's stuff.
Yeah.
Really
Oliver, I have not kept up with Operation Black Flag.
Druid is. I assume you're drawing a satyr.
I have no idea what I'm drawing. It's it might be a treant.
I love whatever it is.
It looks cool.
It's still a plant creature.
Multiple eyes, I really like.
Yeah. I do this thing with plant creatures where when I do multiple eyes, where it's like I kind of stack one half-formed face on top of another face.
I think that's very Fey. I really like that concept.
Yeah. I wish I knew the artist that like inspired me to be drawing that way, but I have no idea. I think I got it from like a magic card actually.
Definitely feels. I think I know what you're talking about.
There's this really cool like plant construct.
So I watched
that did something similar to this that really inspired me, and like it influences all of my plant creatures, including my myconids.
I watched the Green Knight, which I really liked. I really liked that. But something that like just blew my mind was when the Green Knight was like getting off of his horse or like handing something over, it made this like creaking wood sound of like trees.
Yeah.
And of course I'm like, oh, that is the coolest thing. Like I've never thought of that. Of just like describing the movement of a tree and being just like the echoing of trees creaking in a forest. Because that's a really eerie sound when you hear like the wind pick up and all of the trees start just groaning around you. That's really cool. So definitely lots more inspiration for more plant people, which is not something I needed, but yep.
Okay, I'm loving these new fish people.
Ooh, more fish people. Excellent. Different than the grung and the.
Yeah, so if you click on the link I sent,
I guess Pathfinder didn't really have that, did they?
Not yet. They have they have the Gilman.
They have the Gilman, the Triton. Yeah, maybe they didn't have the Triton.
No, yeah, second edition I don't think has the Triton yet. I think it's just the Gilman and the water genasi as
the sylphs or whatever.
The sylph is wind. Undine. The Undine heritage, which is half water elemental.
Gotcha.
Bloodline.
All right, we got to do a robotic arm.
Sorry, continue, Corvus, with the fishmen you were talking about.
Yep. So they talk about how they're highly communal, but in like a more kind of physical bent, whatever they mean by that. So it's like they keep coral colonies that can cleanse poisons from their blood.
They physically have coral living on them. Is that what it's trying to say?
Sure. I mean, that's basic. I know barnacles are not coral, but I imagine that's kind of the premise that they're working off of.
Yeah.
Is this this is the Grefu you're talking about, not the merfolk?
Yeah. So
I don't know
Yeah,
why I said
Grothu
that
is
so.
his name.
So
The
aggressive.
Athamaru. Ooh, this is a really cool picture.
Very
Ooh.
eel-like in terms of face.
Nice.
Yeah, which I love.
Dryad Krampus. You send a bug report that ends up having a dev up all night trying to fix it. It causes the game to explode. Oh no! What did you do? What did you do, Bionic? There are those who make a cool eye design like Javik from Mass Effect. Their upper moons, one demon, demon slayer, 6 eyes. The elongated head seemed a bit off to me. Which maybe that's okay. Maybe it just needs to all be more swirly. I was playing a game with a friend when I accidentally did something and everything nearby crashed. That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
I was back in the
welcome to
day.
my Minecraft experience.
Yeah, I could see that really bad with Minecraft. Back in the day, I was playing Final Fantasy 11, and I walked out onto a dock, and like the game broke and like put me under the dock. So I put in a ticket. I'm like, I'm in the ocean. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm in the ocean. And they're like, well, that's not good. And then some of my friends came over like, what's going on? And then they were in the ocean. I'm like, it's now everyone's in the ocean. And they're like, okay, hold on a minute. And they started like teleporting our characters around. Like, how's that? It's like, nope, now I'm in a mountain. And they're like, crap. And it took them like an hour and they finally fixed us. But it was really funny because like I walked off the dock, which you're not supposed to do. And then my friends walked off the dock. And it's just like, we broke it. Please help. Can't fix it. So I thought that was really funny.
That is very funny. Yeah. I don't experience glitches like that in Minecraft, but I do. I have caused enough lag to crash my brother's server to the point where we had to completely delete the world.
That's funny. I discovered yesterday for Tears of the Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the blood moon is there. This is what I read online, so I could be wrong. Because I was like, when does the blood moon happen? And apparently, the blood moon is the RAM sync for, or the RAM refresh for the Switch. So
really?
That's why it always feels like after you have a really epic battle, the blood moon always pops up. It's because you caused too many effect emitters and destructible things to happen in too short a time that it's like, oh, I gotta refresh blood moon. And so it just
Cool.
resets the RAM. I thought that was really neat.
Yeah. That's
a really clever way to do it.
Yeah, I agreed. That's excellent.
We need to reset the world. Can we make that part of the game? What did I do to this hand? This hand looks a little funny. It's a little too curled, I think. And the thumb should be over here. That's what I did. Thumb was on the wrong side of the hand. No? Wait. Nope. Thumb's on the outside. Yeah. That was what I was missing. I was missing the thumb. Going to build an infrared transmitter pickaxe system so I can turn off people's TVs.
That seems like a pretty dick thing to do.
One of my players jokingly guessed the plot. I've had that happen before. That can be funny. Lars.
Oh, yeah, I'm bad with that. Well, I used to be really bad with that. One of my favorite things to read are mystery novels, like Agatha Christie-esque sort of murder mysteries. And I always like to try to, out of context clues, guess what's happening and who is the bad guy. And I have ruined a couple games that way.
Funny.
Hey.
Lars, I like it the other way around when, like, someone will suggest something. I think Lars said something. And he's like, that'd be really funny if this happens. And I was like, well, that's not what I was planning, but that's better. So I'm going to do that. It's like,
Oh, hey, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, wouldn't that be funny if that had been my plan all along and nobody knew?
So it's always a good thing. One of my friends, she always gets this thing. Yeah, Jump Rope's really good at figuring out what's going to happen, like 15 minutes before it happens. And she'll get really upset because she's like, this is so obvious. Why isn't this happening? I'm like, it's probably going to happen. You just got to wait. So I don't know if it's a propensity for storytelling or impatience in storytelling, but it's usually right on the money.
She hasn't complained about that to me yet. Have I been pretty good at subverting her expectations thus far, you think?
I guess so.
I don't know. I guess I have to ask that to her, but
I'm trying to think about when we had, like, your stories are I don't know how to I've not felt like we've had many mysteries to solve yet, except for this one.
That's fair.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Like, when we were like, someone's eating the children. Oh, it's a demon otter. It's like, that wasn't really a twist, but it's creepy.
I mean, it was a twist for me because I was expecting a hag.
Yeah.
I went in with no expectations.
Something's
Something's eating people.
Twist on that one.
As long as I assumed it was the guards, to be honest. I'm like, those guards are probably eating people. We should kill them.
Then all our tattoos go off, and then we all go to jail.
I don't know. Have we had that conversation yet? I think we did.
Not with the group, but
Okay.
you and I had that conversation.
Oh, that was the other one. Lars DM'd like one or two sessions when I was doing the Ashfont campaign, and I had not told anybody how the teleporter systems worked because that was a secret that I wanted to hold on to. And Lars, instead of asking me about it, just implemented it himself how he thought it worked, and it was just like, I was like, okay, that was neat and fun. None of that was canon because it was completely wrong. Like, we have to take a moment and just all recognize that moving forward, that is not how anything works. Please don't take that into the next part of the campaign. So yeah, it goes both ways.
Yeah.
It's nice to sometimes catch what's happening, and also sometimes you can be very, very wrong. I'm glad I mixed up the blind sighting them and stuff they figure out. Yeah, I think that's really, really good. Otters are already demons.
Oh no, but this was literally a demon fey otter.
Yeah. It was really funny when the wisps showed up, and the whole party just like unanimously, without talking, decided we're not going to deal with that.
Yeah,
like, that is not an issue right now.
That is very clearly the lesser threat.
Yeah.
We'll worry about that later.
Everyone ignore that. I've always wanted to try making an Inception trap. Specific events progress the room, but everything else resets it, including death. Yeah, you can do that. It's kind of fun. I very much tried to build that into my campaign, but my players, one, didn't die. As much as I tried to kill them. And then when they finally did die, and I tried to reset them, nobody wanted to. And I was like, oh, well, all right. So we're just not using that mechanic anymore, I guess. That's fine. So.
Yeah, I still have that thing's pelt.
That's right, you do.
I need to make something out of it. Or sell it or something.
Dimensional otter pockets.
I mean, like, it's really I'd allow that.
Bag of holding.
Use it to make a bag of holding.
Yeah.
I'll knock 1,000 gold off the price for that.
Finny can make them
A bag.
canonically.
It's a bag of holding, but it uses a little hand to hold stuff.
He just actually holds it.
No.
Just
Yep.
crosses.
Not what I had planned, but oh well.
It's a handbag.
That's really funny. For anybody who doesn't get the joke, the creature in question is a evil fey otter called a Huazatl, I think is how it's pronounced. And it's a badger otter with a hand on the end of its tail, like Apom from Pokemon.
Yep.
And it mimics people's voices, and drowns them and eats their eyes and teeth and nails. And then stashes the corpse in the place where it's going to upset the loved ones of the victim the most.
Hence why I thought it was a hag. Because
Yeah.
like, that's such hag behavior.
That's funny. Also scared the pants off him. A giant skeleton looming over the city where I described it built out of smaller bones, and how they were scattered personal belongings and some buildings were missing. Yeah, that I don't know what to take of that. You couldn't possibly hint at it, so they didn't get too hurt by it. The giant skeleton? I think I might have missed something. I don't know what purple means. I just clicked it. That's fine. Normally, Adam, I have people pick the color of the next artwork. Like right now, I'm using red, but I want to do one in purple, and I want to make sure people watch the video, Conrasu video, damn it, did I write Conrasu on there? I bet I did. I did. Is that right? What was the last video we did?
I'm pretty sure Conrad was
Okay.
the last video you did.
Yeah.
My brain is not doing well right now.
Weirdly enough, this is the first time you got it right.
That's why I got confused, because I was like, wait, no, I screwed this up last time. I kept saying Garan over and over again.
Yep.
Yeah, the cosmic fishbowl that grows plants, not the.
Yeah.
That was the last video, not the plant creatures that were made by wizards as a food source and then given sentience by a druid to fuck with their brains.
Is that what happened?
In the original
Yeah.
lore, I think.
I thought they were just built with sentience in mind because sentience tastes delicious, but that could be me.
I mean, I know
It
they
seems
get
like
their
a
name
cooler
from
fate.
the druid
Okay.
who like mucked around with them because his name was Gorgus.
Gotcha.
They have different lore in 2nd edition Pathfinder. They're not poor awakened plant creatures that were designed to be humanoids that you could eat.
They are still delicious, though.
Are they?
Yeah.
Still canonically delicious?
Still canonically delicious.
Alright. They're magically delicious.
At least in Rook's mind.
I swear I read that somewhere. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, you're the only one who's built one in our campaign, so I'll take your word for it.
Bionic, it really sounds like you just made like a rapture situation where everybody just wakes up and they're in hell. Well, hail. Don't know why I had an accent all of a sudden. That was very strange. Like if they kill an NPC that wasn't important, they would reappear in a previous location. I see what you're saying, Cosmic. Okay. Yeah, that was kind of my intent, and it just never came up. And then when one did die, Lars took it on himself to be like, well, I'll just respawn. And then he didn't, and everyone was very confused. I was like, I don't know. He came back eventually. It was funny.
He got better.
He got better.
I got better. Sorry, you cannot make a Monty Python reference in my presence without me quoting something directly.
Exactly.
It's just not possible for me.
Ashergeth? Hungry voids with growing eye stalks and thousands of teeth. Oh boy. Hungry black holes?
That sounds like fun.
The undead shark.
Ah.
It's like an undead shark with angler fish lights coming from its head.
Gotcha. I wanted to make an air genasi, and I think I made a smoke druid. It's all about that vape. Don't vape. I'm telling you right now, don't do it.
It's terrible for you.
There's nothing redeemable about it. I
Makes
almost equate. Yeah, it also makes you look like an asshole if that's what you're gonna say, Corvus.
Close enough.
I was gonna say, man, my brain is just all over the place. I'm so sorry. I cannot talk today. When I was younger, before vaping was a thing, and people were like, smoking's real stupid, I had some friends that decided like whippets were the way to go. It made them real dumb. Don't do that either. Like, they should just stop trying to replace things with things and just don't do things. That's my advice to everybody. If you think this is better than X, just don't do either of them. Do something else. That's my worldly advice for you guys. Yeah.
Bath salts are not worth it.
Nope.
Especially if you don't know what they're made out of.
Perfectly okay to use bath salts in a bathtub.
If they were designed for that purpose, yes.
Yeah. Well,
in aiding of the cleansing of the
thing
body, not the smoking of the
well,
demons
here's
in
the
your head.
thing I found out. When all that stuff was going around, it was a slang term that people were
Correct.
using.
Yeah.
And it's just like, people got so confused. I'm like, what, bath salts?
Smoking actual
Oh,
bath
no.
salts? Well, then there were Tide Pods, right? Like, when people were eating Tide Pods. I'm like, is that a new kind of drug? Like, what is going on? Like, no, they're just it's just stupid stuff.
Stupid kids on TikTok.
Let's catch up on chat here before I get super into like PSA Rook. Got safety. They had to use silence to get the gate open. Town was killed before the party teleported. I had no idea what was up. Spooky, scary. Got it. Okay. So yeah, so it was kind of like a demon town. I like it. That's fine. How do you guys make a good plot twist? I'm working on a new setting. And I want to try to make an interesting twist for my players.
The way I do it, that is least confusing for me, is I figure out what I want to do, and then I look for red herrings. I look for things to throw them off the trail.
I think a good starting point, I think that's a good place to start, to be honest, of like really write what you want to be the case initially, and then you find ways to obscure it. I hate red herrings, to be totally honest, but only because they can be so fixated on, like they can be too effective. You can basically give somebody a red herring, and then that to them is the only key they have, and they fixate on it. And it's like, cool, that's perfect. That's exactly what I want to do. But now it's your job to re-steer them back to the correct path. And then they get confused because they're like, no, you told me the red herring was this thing. And it's like, yeah, I lied to you. Like, that was the whole point.
You lied to me?
I find red herrings are actually easier to implement in D&D related stuff, because you have players roll for knowledge checks, right? So it's easy for you to prepare wrong knowledge if they don't get a high enough roll, and be like, okay, so this is what you think based on the information you have, but you need confirmation, so you need to do some more research, you need to do some field work. Yeah.
Is the villain type
Like
a monster, or would you have a more adventure as a feature? I'm not sure what that means, Elvin. Here, are you asking feral, or you've been through a bunch of stuff recently? Agreed. Sorry, go ahead, Corvus.
I was just going to say, kind of like how Jared handled when I was rolling for what could be doing those murders like, down by the river.
Yeah.
It's like, it could have been anything.
Yep.
It's like, I got close enough to where I got hag, but clearly
Yeah.
still missed the mark.
Yeah, so like specifically what I told Corvus was, based on context clues, you think that this could it could be a green hag. All of the information you have suggests that it's probably something Fae related, because it kind of has those hallmarks, or like it could be something from one of the other planes, sure, but like it feels Fae, and it feels like mean and vindictive in a way that makes you think hag, and also like the way the corpses are mutilated very much makes you think hag. But
I took that hook, line, and sinker, by the way. It's why I got my code iron short sword.
Oh
that
yeah, I
shoots
know.
lightning out.
which made me very happy. But Corvus was the only one making those rolls when that happened. And like the important thing, if you're going to do a red herring, in order to avoid the thing that Rook was talking about, which is the red herring is too good, and people and your players like get so convinced that they have all of the correct information, and then you pull the rug out from under them at the end and they get all pissy. Like, the way to avoid that is to make it so that it doesn't actually matter.
Yeah. But yeah,
So
and so my that actually is the reason that I get kind of upset with a lot of red herrings, is because people will spend like so much time devoted to preparing for the red herring, and then it's like, haha, I tricked you. It's like, there's no way we would have been able to know that. So that's when the red herring becomes the truth.
Yeah.
Is when there was no option for people to figure out the initial thing, because you were withholding some specific information. And I've been struggling with that, trying to figure out exactly how to sell that. And that is a struggle. And that's true for pretty much all of murder mysteries. Like, how do you give away the answer without giving away the answer? Do not do drugs. Better than doing drugs. Instructions not clear what do. Unless it's prescribed by a medical professional, maybe don't take it. That's all I'm saying. Someone who's directly, and it doesn't matter. What would be the main difference between Tritons and Sea Elves? Nothing. They're the same. To me, Sea Elves are just blue elves, whereas Tritons can be anywhere between Undertale, Undyne, and a population of Splatoon. Yeah, I really think that basically the Triton were just that was their intent. They were supposed to be Sea Elves versus Merfolk. And then Tritons have been types of Merfolks in the past as well. So it's like, I don't really think there needs to be much more explanation to that. It's just a name for a race of Sea Elves.
Like, if you want to tell them apart, like if you like want them to be different, like Tritons generally are only from the water plane.
Yeah, you could do it that way.
So like,
see, and I think the Undine would be better for that.
I agree.
But you're right. You're absolutely right.
And
in the context of like D&D, at least.
Exactly. Yeah.
Are Gilman specific to Pathfinder, or are they in D&D? I don't remember them in 5e.
They are a Pathfinder exclusive.
Okay. Yeah. So like, if you're interested in it, I really like the Gilman. Like, their background is humans enslaved by aboleths for long enough that they have physiologically permanently changed. And I think they're very cool.
I rolled a 1.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
They're just pretty water humans.
Catfolk fighter samurai with a huge sake disc as a round hat.
Ooh, I saw that one. I was excited about that one.
Do you want to do it?
No, you rolled it. I'll honor the dice gods. Besides, I'm not quite finished with my...
Roll a contested roll.
Yeah.
To see who wins it.
Sounds weird, but don't over twist. Don't make everyone corrupt. Make one guy corrupt. Start small. That's one way to do it. And make them just as be the X, but make it hard to figure it out. Hags make the best villains and friendly NPCs and loose cannon NPCs. Hags are great. I love hags. All right. That took a twist. Is there a villainous creature or type of creature or race you would like to have as a featured adventure? Like a module that features the gift, mind flayers, or a campaign against star spawns. It's like basically what would I like to see more story of? I do like the Garan. I honestly would like to see more like just Fae, like just straight up Fae campaigns. Because 5e with like Beyond the Witchlight took more of like a spirit-y aspect of things, but like we don't get to see like the old brutal terrifying Fae that used to be in a lot of like the old mythos and stuff. So I would love to see more of that. Maybe something with like the courts or the Earl King.
Oof, love the Earl King.
Sylvan.
Love an Earl King.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff. Because I think even Critical Role went that direction, but even with what they did a lot more like kind of silly shenanigans mixed in with the horror. So
yeah,
both of those are fine. But
I mean, part of that is players.
Yeah,
Matthew very, very clearly likes hags and likes the scariest fucking hags imaginable. And the thing that I like the most about Matthew's hags is that they're not just there to like fuck shit up. They're there for their own interests. They're always there for their own interests.
Yeah.
And the players never know what those interests are. I really liked Campaign 1, the Mighty Nine. No, not the Mighty Nine. The shits. Vox Machina.
there you go.
I really liked how Vox Machina, when they interacted with hags, it was to make deals.
Yeah, I like that too. Cosmic Yellow, you can still make a submission. Something I had an idea for them trying to figure out what happened to the goddess of magic since she's missing. But I want to be the explanation for the god of cannibalism ate her. Is there a god of cannibalism? I mean, like, Urgathoa. It's kind of like that, but I don't know if she's the god of cannibalism isn't specifically one of her tenets.
I think there's a few in Forgotten Realms.
Okay. I wrote that she was cast into a red star, so maybe his return is secret. Yeah, I don't know. D&D is an interesting universe in which the gods are very, present and not present. So
Yeah.
you can do a lot with that.
Gotta keep the balance somehow.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, we'll help you, but not all the time.
Caden Killian is one of my favorites, and I know he's a Pathfinder exclusive, but like he's one of my favorite deities because he's a really easy one to have like an actual player interaction with that doesn't really mean anything. Doesn't really affect the story.
I think he's one of the like the risen gods, right? Like he was a human.
Yeah.
And he got really drunk and can't remember how he did it.
Yeah. He got really drunk, accidentally did the star quest that makes you a god. Can't remember how he did it, but passed it with flying colors, and now is a god of freedom and alcoholism.
Just as long as you're not a violent drunk.
Yeah.
Damn it, I keep getting things I want Jared to throw at us.
Corvus, just DM a game.
Problem.
No, I will not DM a game. Because I would have no idea how to use Foundry, and then like it would just ruin everything if I have like you or Druid help me. So
I will. I've said this to Kevin. I've said this to Lars. I've said this to Druid. I don't give a shit if I know how the story ends. Like,
yeah, no, Rook. Seriously, Corvus. Rook is an excellent part-time or backup GM or secondary GM. He never metagames. he he's very respectful.
Most of the time. Kidding.
He never metagames in a way that matters to the outcome of the story. He doesn't care about spoilers. You're very accommodating, Rook, for needing to like make maps or like character tokens for like you're very easygoing with allowing the import of resources into the Foundry server, and like you make it really easy for me to GM our game, and
Good.
I really appreciate it.
That's good.
Also, I don't think I could throw this at you all and anyone survives, so
Probably
maybe
too
later.
high CR for us.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, it's 19.
I've done
Yeah,
worse.
it's a little bit too high for us.
I had the final thing that I had everybody fighting the Ashfont campaign was a level 18. What was it? Shadow Walker? They weren't supposed to
Nightwalker?
fight it. It might have been a Nightwalker. I don't remember what it's called, but it was a big giant shadow demon, and I put it in there specifically so they wouldn't fight it. And Kevin's like, "I'm gonna punch it in the face." I'm like, "Aura of Annihilation," and I threw, I think it was like 66 damage at him, and he took like 8 damage, and I was like, "Bullshit!" And he's like, "I can take it." And I'm like, "You can't take this. I'm gonna tell you right now that should have killed you." And he was like, "All right, I'll back up." So that was really funny. They did a great job. They did a great job, but I designed them to all die in that campaign, and they did awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, Corvus, this thing has Wail of the Banshee on its spell list. Oh.
Yeah. Yep. So it's from Aztec mythology, and it's this gargantuan skeleton that has like eyes on its joints.
Yeah. You should look at it, Rook. The art for it is amazing.
Well, I would, but I'd have to go to Discord and then click on something and then open a thing and then move it. So I'll look at it later.
You can look at it later.
If you want me to see pictures, you got to post pictures. Something I had an idea for.
Middle, I think.
You wrote that he was. Oh yeah, I read. Okay. Chat kind of stopped. F's in chat. Everybody F's in chat.
Okay.
I can't remember what class this cat was supposed to be.
Samurai, I think.
Samurai. Okay.
Yeah, because he's got a sake cup on his head.
I got a 12d10 attack. It did 15 damage to the party, and they made the save for half. That's awesome.
Jeez. Just roll max damage. Just say you're doing max damage if you want to scare your players.
Yep.
And not to fight something.
Yeah. True.
Or just not let them make a save. Like, to prove, to say something's really scary. You don't get a save against this because you're not strong enough to make a save against it.
I don't know. I feel like I feel like everybody should always get a save.
I don't know. I just know that's an option I've heard people using. Like, not all the time, but just like if they come across like a big bad bit early, and they're like, "Oh, we can take it," and it's like, maybe not.
Yeah, there's definitely, you have to be really careful when you're doing that kind of stuff, which I have done in the past. Poorly, I guess is what I should say. I've done it in the past. Where like if you want something to be kind of like a cutscene, where you want it to be just like, here's something you're not allowed to interact with. Yeah, you have to be really careful about that. Careful about that. But it can be really effective if you do that. And I've had people get really mad at me because they think that they're supposed to fight something. I'm like, no, this was showing you something. How are we supposed to fight that? It's like, you're not. That's the point. So like you got to be really careful about those things. But it can be really powerful. And it's just something you have to play with.
Yeah. If my players aren't really supposed to interact with something, I prefer to actually take them out of combat and make it cinematic.
Yeah.
The campaign that I GM'd that I'm the most proud of was a first edition Pathfinder campaign, and we actually started out that way. Like we started out with like me getting them to the starting dungeon was the town where their players all lived and worked as like town guards, like volunteer, extra military, was attacked by goblins, and it was such a large horde of goblins. I just told them, okay, so like in order to rush things along so we can get to actual play, just so you guys know, like what happens is the town gets swarmed and you watch a lot of people get attacked. Some of them are definitely dead. There also is reinforcements coming, but you guys are in a rough place, and you get knocked out and get taken captive, and we're going to go to that place because, like,
I would be grumpy about that.
I still had everybody roll to like say how many goblins they basically killed, and there was a little bit of grumpiness about it, but like at the same time, me telling them at the beginning that this is not supposed to be an encounter. This is supposed to be us getting you guys to the point where your players decide to stop being volunteer town guards and become actual adventurers. Like we started like they started as NPC characters where we were working together to build the world.
I had a friend
I felt it was appropriate.
do the opposite, where he threw us into this huge invasion, and we got swarmed, and we got our butts kicked, and we all died. And then we woke up, and it was like, oh shit, what? And so yeah, we thought we had TPK'd, and then he swung it around on us that we were all taken prisoner, and it's like, that's awesome. And he's like, yeah, you guys weren't supposed to win that. Like, you guys were supposed to lose, because we were all confused. Like, what were we supposed to do? Like, there was no way we were supposed to get out of it. He's like, yeah, you were supposed to lose. And so that was a really interesting way to do that cutscene, because we still had full autonomy. And I tried to do that one time to Kevin, and they won. They scraped by. I think somebody died, but like he lost like all of his skeletons because he was the necromancer, and they barely scraped by and escaped. And I was like, awesome, okay, so we're not going to do the prison escape campaign anymore. And I just threw that out the window and continued on with what I was doing beforehand. So that was really neat. But yeah, doing it the first time where I did, my party got knocked out, I was very just like, man, I feel like there was nothing we could do about that. It's like, yeah, it was supposed to be hopeless. Like, that's what I wanted, you guys. And then we had this really cool campaign where we built our characters up out of prison to like reclaim all of our stuff and get out and then try to save the city. So that was really, really fun. But ban Kevin, yeah, right.
I did specifically like consider doing it that way. I agonized about the decision to have them play out that fight or not, but like I specifically chose not to because I felt it wasn't appropriate for the campaign. It wasn't appropriate for my table for a couple of reasons. Like, we were starting really, really low level, and half of my table do not like playing low level. So I wanted to get to the fights that were actually going to like matter as quickly as possible.
The other thing that I've had done, the thing I should preface with that is it didn't feel like it was an unbeatable fight. It wasn't like, oh, here's a level 20 Tarrasque that just kills you, right? Like, we were getting swarmed by goblins. And it was just like, yeah, I can kill one or two goblins around, but man, they just keep coming. And we eventually got like cornered in a sewer. And like, that's where we thought we were going to get away, but we didn't. So he was very good about kind of pacing that out and feeling like, maybe we can make it. And we just kept getting worse and worse luck, which I thought was really good. Versus the other thing I've done is I've had essentially the same situation pop up. It's like, oh, there are just waves of skeletons coming down these stairs, and you can preface it with, so this is how it's going to work. Essentially, every round, if you are within 5 feet of these skeletons, you're going to take 3d6 damage. You just are. Like, there's too many hands. You can't defend yourself. I will let you try to do things like, I want to spend my turn holding it back. Cool. You take the damage, and I won't advance them, right? Like, so you can still make an argument for what you want to do. And I think at the end of the day, like, one of my players got really creative and like shattered some of them with a spell. I can't remember exactly what he did, but we had like a Gandalf moment at one point where they got to a bridge. And he's like, ah, and he held him back, and he barely survived, and it was amazing. Because I'm like, you roll your attack, and if you do enough damage, like I'll reduce the amount of damage I'm going to do to you as you're like fending off the skeletons. So there's a lot of different ways you can do that kind of stuff where it's more of like an action sequence, or you know, you're going to roll 3 rolls, and I'm going to tell you what's happening. And you can do a lot of fun stuff with that without it having to be just like a slog of damage. And
I don't think I was an experienced enough GM at that during that campaign to be able to finagle most of that, which is why I'm advocating for the it's okay to take people out of combat if you need the story to go a specific way, and
yeah, I think that's fair.
Can't afford for your players to suddenly have really good luck and roll 4 natural 20s in a row and succeed, because that happens.
Yeah. And I think that's another good point of just watching rolls and not letting rolls determine your story. Because like in that situation, if you know I rolled a natural 20, it's like cool. You slay the goblins, and the goblins get pissed off at you, and they take you prisoner, and you're conscious the whole time, right? And then so you can give them information about what's happening, because like but they still like the story still progresses in the way you want, but you give the players a reward for doing what you want to do, and that's more complex, and it can get really, really, really difficult. My horror campaign party is smart. They often see things and go, "Oh no, that's out of our pay grade." Okay, they saw a massive mess of tentacles disappear from the warehouse. That happened to me too. In the same story, what happened is I'd prefaced that I wanted Kevin the Necromancer to go fight all of these fire giants. Like there was a castle of fire giants that he had to pass through to leave. And I had this really cool thing set up for it. And he's like, yeah, we're not doing that. I'm like, you guys will be fine. And he's like, nah, that's too much. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, this was designed specifically for you guys. You will be fine. And they just like, we don't want to fight fire giants. We're going to go back the other way. I'm like, there's a shit ton of paladins waiting to murder you because you've been here too long and they know where you are. And they're like, yep, we're going to fight the paladins. And I was just like, son of a bitch. Not what I expected, but okay, here we go. And they survived, and it was great. And it's a fun story they have now. But every now and again, Kevin the Necromancer will just like yell at me like we're not fighting fire giants when he doesn't agree with what I'm doing. And so it's like, all right. Do the gods in your games enforce absolute or subjective morality? Can they be replaced, and can the replacements be immortal? My games, yes. Well, hold on. No. Yes. That's the way I'll answer that. Absolute or subjective morality, like, yeah, that's a. All the gods are different. All the gods are different. They're all gonna have something different with that.
Yeah. For me, it very much depends on the god and my conception of them.
Yeah.
But like, basically, I have we talked a little bit about what Second Edition Pathfinder is doing. Basically, abandoning the alignment system and like worrying more about a patron's like
tenets?
Stated tenets and anathema, like the stuff that they stand for and the stuff that they find absolutely unforgivable. And I have kind of one of the reasons I'm so on board with that is that's basically how I've always played my deities anyway.
Yeah. I think it's pronounced anathema, but I could be wrong. I will look that up.
That's entirely possible.
I will also be right back. I need to go shoot some drugs in my eyes. I'll be right back.
Sure, yeah.
Hang tight. What's up, Skip Cat? Oh, I'll get you some food too. Okay.
Anathema is one of those words that I have
only read
way more than I have heard spoken, and I've never heard anybody who has spoken it like state with any amount of conviction that this is how it's supposed to be said.
Demons got separated at birth. Was this Constantine city by demons? Sorry. Huh, I'll look at that. Oh, I'll be right back, everybody. Hang tight.
I'm just about done with this plant creature. I don't know. Is this hide behind Corvus? I guess Corvus is not here. What?
Okay, I'm back. Uh-oh.
Welcome back.
What I miss? What happened to Corvus?
I have no idea.
Oh no.
I thought he was still here, and I said something to him, and then looked like an idiot because I'm talking to myself, basically. Cat's been kind to me, though, by not shaming me.
That's fair. I think what holds me back from DMing myself is probably how often I hear plans changing and having to go off the cuff for a session. I'm probably a rigid storyteller. Would be railroading the party. That can be a thing, and if your party's into it, that can be fine.
Yeah.
It really just
In
depends.
fact, there's a lot of players who actually need railroading
Yeah.
to a certain extent, and like really only want to be let off the leash when it comes to role play.
What I did for my project setting was making a god for each alignment. And then, yeah, that's a good place to start. If that's the way you want to do it.
Yeah. I've done that before. It usually turns out to be too much work, and nobody cares about it.
Yeah, I'm on that.
For
I'm
me.
on that spectrum for sure. Like I'm
Yeah.
really bad about remembering knowing deities, but like Jump Rope is really good at that, and that's something she enjoys. So I have to pay attention to some of them. But for the most part, it's the same thing with like religion is geography to me. They are the same. It's just like, do I need to know anything about this deity to progress what I'm doing right now? No, then I don't care about it. Like, if I'm not in that state, I don't need to know anything about that state. You can also do some things like there are different cults of death along the spectrum. Yeah, I mean that is the one thing about like when you're writing deities, you have to take into account that just because the deity exists doesn't mean that everybody worships the same way.
Yeah. Or even that the people who worship the deity actually know what the deity is about.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was saying earlier, that like D&D is interesting because the gods are present but not. And so like Caden Killian, yeah, sure, probably loves seeing champions run around and be wild and drunken and having a party, but at the same time, most people he will never interact with, and they just have to have stories that they follow, right?
Yeah.
So.
But he's at the same time present enough in the lives of
He could be, yeah.
Yeah, like it's I generally assume that the deities are at least present enough in the lives of their church, their like primary church, that you can be fairly confident that that their primary church knows what's up, like actually knows what the deity's preferences are.
Yeah, and like there's a good example of the like magic exists, like clerics have magic from their deities for the most part, like and we've had that discussion with, well, what if they just believe in themselves and they give themselves magic? It's like, okay, cool, they can do that, but that makes them really more of like a warlock. Like, if their belief and faith is the thing giving them the magic, not the deity themselves, then there's something else going on.
Then the strictures of their magic don't really apply at that point, right? Like it's something else. The consequences for them acting against their belief basically aren't enforceable, because they're always going to act on their belief, because their perception of their belief becomes what's more important than the deity's perception of their belief.
And what I would argue is you probably is still a deity giving them the power, and the deity just doesn't care. A good example of that is like Game of Thrones, the Red Priest. Basically had the power to revive people, and he could like light a sword on fire, and he was all kinds of. Everyone thought he was fake, like they thought he was this just charlatan. But then later in the books, you find out that no, he has all these powers, and he hates them. He hates that that he was chosen to like have those abilities, and he has to keep seeing his friends die and revive them, and he watches all these people suffer, and so he like drinks himself almost dead all the time. Like he stopped following the tenets of the church in like protest, but still does the stuff that he was like, still uses the abilities he was given because he has to. He feels like he has to. So like there's a lot of really cool ways to make clerics not just like perfectly pious creatures that like have to follow the edicts the way that like lawful stupid paladins used to feel like they had to. And I think that's the biggest thing, is why getting rid of the alignment is better, because alignment, like I said, never really made sense, and alignment really should only be used as a guide for you. It's like, if I'm playing this character, I should try to bend my character in this direction, but it shouldn't have mechanical purpose, and except in very, very rare situations. I think I'm done with this cat panda thing I've drawn.
And I think I'm done with what I'm going to say is a hide behind.
Is that a creature?
Sort of. It's a Gravity Falls creature.
Oh, okay, got it.
It's the creepy shadow in the woods that follows you, and every time you turn around to look at it, it's gone.
Gotcha. Oh, I forgot to put. I dropped it. Hold on.
Anyway, I am finally ready to do a suggestion. Now that we're down to what, a D6, D8? Ooh, I just had an interesting thought about the whole gods thing. There is. I mean, it's like it's a very Christian idea, right? That God has possession of your soul until
Okay.
until the devil does,
Sorry.
right? So
I'm back.
you could kind of pull inspiration from that idea and have a thing where like your cleric, if they basically become an oath breaker, like they still get their powers, but it's a demon or a diva or a daemon or something else. It's something else that's now providing that power, and maybe they don't know about it yet.
Yeah, just start having like thematically shifting what they're doing. Like, oh yeah, your spells are blue now. It's like what?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Or
I'm sure
like,
tons
yeah.
of gods would love to have, love to pick up like the champion of another deity as their puppet.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially evil ones. Hey, that healing spell you cast, it kind of didn't really heal as much as you expected. And the player you healed is a little bit sick now. What am I rolling, Rook?
D10.
D10, okay. 7.
An awakened snail dragon sorcerer.
Okay.
I rolled a 4. Modern themed burly fox folk barbarian dude with a brawler build for a Shadowrun campaign. All the scars, all the beef. All right. Skip cat, what are you doing? I literally just fed you. You can't come rampaging around for more food. You alright? I'm gonna knock shit over. Okay. Fox folk, eh? Trading champions like Pokemon cards? That could be really funny.
All right. I have the perfect reference for this dragon snail. And it is the scaly-footed gastropod. The deep-sea snails that live on iron vents and have shells made of magnetite.
That does seem to be the one the internet is obsessed with. Skip cat, what are you doing? Don't step on that D4. Technically, they should have no limit of what magic they have. I believe D&D Mistra has only imposed a limit on levels of magic on lower beings. Oh yeah, so like deities should have access to all the magic. Yeah. I was hoping whoever got the dragon snail would use this as a reference. There you go. Would use that as a reference. So. Flail snail sorcerer. What do foxes look like?
They look like long mini dogs.
There's a Bleach character who I thought was a fox, and everyone's like, no, they're a corgi. And I'm like, that's less interesting to me. But yeah, I think foxes are just like tiny corgis.
I mean, kind of. They're a lot skinnier than corgis. They've got longer
Yeah.
legs and longer tails. But yeah.
Did I do a
Is
Kitsune
Discord not
video?
working for me, Hashy Brown? Because like I'm getting a link to a Discord, not a picture.
At Bluerdler? I think you
Blue
at,
Red Lover.
yeah. I think you added the wrong person. But
You gave me a person, not a
no, I
not a
think
reference.
Ashley Brown was saying that they wanted you to use the picture you chose.
Oh, okay.
I read it wrong, sorry. Too many people named Blue stuff in our Discord, apparently.
Yep. 100%. Okay.
I hope I didn't make Corvus mad by telling him to DM more. That wasn't my intent.
I'm going to assume he got called away to do farm stuff.
That could be possible. I want to start the next video. People I didn't get 1,000 likes on the last one, but I think I still might do the Loma anyways. I think dragons are also exempt from the 9th level magic system. That could be interesting. I'm not sure about that. I love Bleach, though I have no idea if it would function as a magic system. I don't see why not. I mean, like, essentially everybody is essentially a warlock.
A warlock.
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
they're
Everybody is a hexblade warlock with slightly different flavored weapons.
Yep.
And like one really, really fucking big spell.
Yep. Then you have the Quincy, I guess, which are like technically mages or sorcerers.
I mean, that's kind of the way they look at first, but they're actually clerics.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, they're supposed to be little paladin people.
Yeah, because in the 1,000-Year Blood War, they're like all of their powers actually come from a demigod, the child of the creator god who created all of the 3 realms, who wants to destroy all of creation and remake it in his own image.
Makes sense. Makes sense to me.
Yeah. So the Quincy are all canonically lawful stupid clerics.
I could buy that.
Clerics to a lawful stupid god.
What's the best way to prove that I'm better than you? At slaying demons? I'm gonna summon a shit ton of demons to this world. It's like, that's the exact opposite of what your edict should be. Like, no, I don't think it is. Awful stupid is my alignment. There's a lot of people that are that way. Cleric rangers. But there's not enough paladin rangers. I really think there should
Agreed.
be more. I didn't make this super beefy. Should I make him super beefy? I could make him beefier, I guess. I don't feel like a fox barbarian would have a battle axe. I'm trying to figure out what to give him. Maybe they said brawler. I don't remember now. Eat you, pork, pork. Lovecraft's Elder Thing plus The Last of Us zombie equals Kenrasu. That's one way to look at it, yeah.
Yeah. And also, Hashi Brown, that is the exact reference of the scaly-footed gastropod that I'm using.
I think that's the reference that was used for the flail snail in the newest art.
Really?
Yeah, like it's that picture is, the internet is obsessed with it.
That would not surprise me. Yeah.
The Arakan car? Man, I don't. Yes? I'm trying to remember exactly what those are.
Ooh, but also counterpoint this snail image.
Hey. Pretty good. Yeah, okay. I can give him a little more poof.
I knew about the scaly-footed gastropod before it was cool, okay?
I think it's a past thing now. I said the internet's going crazy, but that was like 2 years ago, so.
Well, I believe it was discovered or described. I want to say
2018?
6 or 7 years ago. Yeah, it was before 2020.
Yeah. I had to draw it a few times in the first year.
I've been aware of it for most of that time.
Ugh. Every time I use the eye drops, I get like nasty taste in my mouth. I hate it.
Weird.
Yeah. Do antibiotics taste like metal?
No, but ozone smells like electricity. Conversation I was having. I don't know. Do antibiotics taste like metal?
I have no idea.
I've never thought so.
Iron car that flies and the Tozen build I never tried though. It ended up being darkness hex blade. Yeah. I mean, I think the real thing is people posit that, like, how would you build X, Y, or Z in D&D? D&D is just so, you can do anything in D&D. Like, if you want to do a Bleach campaign, you can absolutely do that. If you want to do a Pokemon campaign, you can absolutely do that.
I think it's important to note that there's no wrong way to take any character and build them in D&D.
Yeah.
If it works the way you want it to work and gives you the feeling that the character you're trying to duplicate, like if it gives you that feeling, then you've done it correctly.
Because if you want Ichigo to be like a barbarian, basically just give everybody in the universe
rage powers.
Or I mean, like, just start them off with the Pact of the Blade Warlock. Like, just everybody has that passively, and then they build the character however they want. You know, like, you can absolutely do that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's usually pretty easy to flavor things one way or the other. And if your universe is different, then don't put it in the don't put it in the Forgotten Realms.
Yeah, it is. It's totally an excellent idea to, like, if you're trying to build out an extra universe, to like give people a little bit more than they would get from the vanilla. If you need to give everybody a class feature from one class, like, do it. No reason not to.
Usually a bit after they've been taken, not immediately. I assume that was for antibiotics. Antibiotics can cause metallic tastes in your mouth. Okay, good. Do your eyes have tongues that you're willing to find out about? Taste buds your eyelids. That would be pretty bad. I don't want taste buds on my eyelids.
Ugh, me neither. Okay, question. Should I give this Dragon Blood Awakened Snail, dragon horns?
Oh, I would think so. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. One Lilith snail coming right up.
Oh man, I want to draw Lilith so bad. I'm so excited.
Her character model is so cool.
What if vaginas, but all the way from the top to the bottom? It's like, yes, let's do that.
Gotta make the name Lilith appropriate.
The hornier, the better. There you go. A friend who doesn't like D&D due to the class system. He says it's too restrictive. He likes GURPS. Interesting. I mean, I think
That's fair.
that's you can definitely have that. I'm so relaxed with homebrew. I constantly give people items that have class feats on them. Like, it just thematically, it makes way more sense to me to do that kind of stuff.
Agreed. Especially if spells are a thing that people have and can put on weapons.
Yeah.
And or just basic items. 100% like class abilities, especially magical class abilities. There's no reason in my mind not to put those on items as well. And like there's no reason for a certain amount of magical technology as well.
If second wind is something you get from fighting a lot, then everybody by the time they're level 20 should probably have second wind. It just, yeah. What's up, cat?
Meow. Meow.
The horns would bang against the shell if you're not careful. I don't know if they care. Like, goats smack themselves with their own horns all the time.
Yeah, and like kind of the point of having horns on your head is that they're already protected, right? So if a snail has horns on its head, why does its head need to go into the shell?
One of the reasons I like the half feats that give you spells. Yeah, I think those are pretty important. I usually always give one of those to my everyone should be a wizard or a fighter by level 20. Yeah, if you're a level 20 fighter and you haven't like comprehended how magic works at that point, there's something wrong with you.
Especially if you have a battle mage in your party.
What's that man doing with that stick? That's a wand. A what? It's like, we've seen thousands of those. What are you talking about?
Everybody in the party has one right now. What is your problem? Yeah. So there's definitely a point where like the character would have to be willfully stupid to not have picked up something.
Long straight horns with a gentle twist that don't interfere with the eye stalks. On this guy, you can do that. Make him look like a jackal.
That's a good question, Bri.
Wouldn't everyone automatically level just by life experience? It could argue that every 5 years you should say in a level. There's a couple schools of thought in that direction. Unless you're just trying to make a joke, in which case I can shut up. But yeah, years of life don't equate to adventuring levels. Because then every 90-year-old would be able to cast max level spells.
Yeah.
Yeah, butchering a chicken is gaining experience, and so that was the one thing with experience. Like, that's why a cat can also kill a person. In a normal situation, a cat would not do any damage to a person when scratching them, right? So, like,
Yeah,
in most
not
situations,
significantly.
you would not roll initiative if a cat attacks you. If you roll for initiative, that cat has the potential to murder you.
Yeah, you have pissed off that cat so
Something-
much that it is decided that it's your life or theirs.
Yeah, like there's a situation in which that is the case. So gaining experience is really only towards your adventuring endeavors. Like, was this enough to add to your adventuring skill? That, and there are, if you do want to do it the other way, where everything is XP and people should level up as they age, essentially that's where like the levels in noble or level in aristocrat or shopkeep come in. They don't give you experience points in that way, but sorry, I said that wrong. You gain experience points just from existing, but they're put towards something that's not adventuring, which adventuring inherently just kind of makes you more powerful.
Yeah. Town guard, I think, yes, they should get a certain amount of adventuring levels. Probably not as many as a proper adventurer mercenary who's going out all day, every day fighting who the hell knows what. But still, town guards, like, they're going to get combat experience. Probably from some like really weird stuff that likes to hang out in towns and prey on people.
And I'm even okay with giving them like it makes total sense for me for all guards to have, second wind and stuff like that. It's just like, that's just part of training for fighting. So, swimming in rough water systems, you're not risking anything. Example, butchering a chicken should give you experience, but the swimming in rough water stream. No. Yeah, like it's different between like, oh, this is a fairly dangerous water. Rolling a 10. If you have any bonuses in your in swim, you're not even gonna have to worry about it, right? But there's a chance that you'll still like breathe in some water that could damage you. Like, there's different ways to look at that kind of thing, and essentially it's up to the DM to describe to you when something is a life or death situation. And I like rewarding people. Like, oh, you have stealth, yeah, then you don't have to roll. Like, nobody here is going to notice you. Just your little bit of experience is better than everybody here. And so I like looking at things like that. But experience is supposed to represent heroic potential, not experience. Yeah. The word is kind of misnamed. Life experiences does not teach you fireball.
Misnomer is a
subclass
agree
feature.
with that.
Interesting.
Yeah, just like HP is really a misnomer. It's not about how much health you have. It's not about how much blood is you got left in your body. It's very much about how much energy you've got left.
I really like maybe not exhaustion per se, but I really like things that temporarily reduce your maximum hit points. Like, that always feels very
Drain.
Yeah, it's just like, oh shit. It's like, yep, I'm gonna take 10 of your maximum hit points away until you rest. It's like, oh crap. I feel bad for NPCs who die of old age and never accidentally burn down a barn. I mean, who's saying they didn't? I know people that have accidentally burned down barns. A level 15 bartender would kill the whole party.
I'm back. People.
Welcome back.
Hey,
Okay.
welcome back. Hey, I didn't burn down the barn. It was totally that dragon in the mountain. Yeah.
You was the quitters.
It was a quick.
I had to move a diesel tank into a trailer.
Oof.
Yeah.
and it was also like it was black and seeing in the sun, so it was just like hot.
Oof.
Yeah, 1 billion degrees.
Yeah, no way of like getting a good handle on it for long.
Oh, fun.
I can't remember if it's 5e or Pathfinder, but I remember Village Generator's rules that give NPCs adventuring levels or expert levels depending on their job. Yeah, so Pathfinder does that, which I really like. Like, you can have level 10 aristocrats that basically, essentially, instead of taking things like power attack, they have skill feats that just make them really, really good at diplomacy or really good at
Yeah.
things like that. And I think that makes total sense, because not everybody's min-maxing for fighting giant demon crabs.
You definitely need some people min-maxing for that, but
Yeah.
not everybody.
D&D is full of inconsistencies and leaps of logic since first edition. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's
Any
fantasy.
game.
There should be more sources of exhaustion for both players and their DMs. And the DMs.
Trust me, DMs get plenty of exhaustion.
Trauma equals fireball. I mean,
DMs need more exhaustion. that tells me that you haven't DM'd. You haven't had to prepare 7 different eventualities for an encounter your parties are going to run, and then not get to use any of them and have to pull something out of your ass last minute.
I think
DMs do not need more sources of exhaustion.
There's a really good. So I love Rise of the Rune Lords. It was the first campaign I ever really ran, and I've ran it a few times. I think one of the main characters in the first chapter was just a person. Like, she wasn't an adventurer. She's just a normal lady until she gave birth to like this demon child because of the Rune Lords. Blah blah blah. That doesn't matter. The point being, like, that's when she became an adventurer. That's when she, like, because the deities granted her power, right? So like everybody in the world has the potential to have some kind of character level. It just also doesn't make sense for, like, I'm a 10-year-old level 5 warlock. Like,
Yeah.
there's a
100%.
point where you are a level 1 character until the call of adventure takes you, and that can happen at any point in your life. So yeah, I don't know.
I would also just like to point out, even some adventurers are not ready for interdimensional demon crabs like we were that
Yeah.
one day.
Yeah.
It's like,
Exhaustion status, not IRL. Yeah. I don't. What would you do for giving a DM exhaustion? Like, what would the point of that be? Like, the DM gets worse at rolling? Or do you just mean, like, there should be more options to just give everybody exhaustion?
To give exhaustion to the creatures the GMs are
I think touch of fatigue
playing.
was a thing, wasn't it? Maybe not. Maybe that just gives you a
Yeah.
negative. They got rid of a lot
Yeah.
of that stuff for 5e because they got rid of all of the drain and what's
Negative
the
levels.
negatives? Yeah,
Yeah.
because essentially, like, there were spells that did that quite a lot, actually, that let you do those kind of like, oh, you get. That's how a lot of the poisons worked as well. They just did Constitution damage or they did Dexterity damage. And that's what that was. It's just like, you either have to rest this off, like you need a full nice rest to gain back 1 point, or you have to have a spell to do it because it's like a curse, essentially.
yeah.
I think the main character in Firestarter definitely not first level, but she's like 8 years old. Yeah, and I think that's a good example of it. Like, fire was expunged. I would also like to more zombies should need walkers. I mean, their knees, right? They got crappy knees. Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's just we really only look at it from the perspective of, I'm an adventurer, and then in the next 6 weeks, I'm going to become the most powerful being in the universe. And so when you have that kind of strange, when you have that kind of strange, that's the power of the player, is that the player is fast tracking through life. Whereas a lot of, like, you bump into a wizard and he's gonna have been like, I spent the last 90 years in this tower so I can become level 6. It's like, I'm level 8 now because I killed a dragon. What up? Right?
Just massacred a village of goblins.
Yeah, just a whole village of goblins. I just ran a card into it. Now I'm super powered. So I think that is really the beneficial effect of being an adventurer, like the parties, is that your characters have all of this potential like built up in them, and you as the player are just like unleashing it at an ungodly speed. You don't have to really earn it the way everyone else does because you're going through the game.
I actually really appreciate this conversation because it is, I think, giving me ideas for what I'm going to tell Jump Rope's character
Oh no.
about. Yeah, for people who are interested, Jump Rope is playing a wizard who joined our adventurers guild to research her master's thesis.
I hate it so much.
It's terrible, but also has given me some. It's given me some really fun, like, interact with the College of Mages.
Someone who lived
stuff.
through that in real life, it's painful.
Yeah. So basically, like, they get to have fun with the college, and I try to make it as real as possible. But like her thesis is that adventurers, something about adventurers allows them to learn magic faster. And thus far, all we've explored with it is that, like, it's not necessarily, or it hasn't necessarily been yet that the player characters have learned magic faster, but her character has, like, come to higher level magic faster than her peers. So, like, I've given her that information for her thesis, but I've been wanting to give her something else, and I think that this has helped me come up with an idea.
Have more creatures that do exhaustion levels or have class features that give exhaustion. Yeah, just play Pathfinder.
Yeah.
Pathfinder First Edition. You'll have everything you want right there. It's great.
Yep.
Or do you just want to die?
And exhaustion is a little different in Pathfinder too, because like that's the thing in 5e they made it way less applicable. It doesn't happen nearly as often, and it kills you faster. Like Pathfinder, like there are rules for if you have to march for an entire day, like if you have to continue running for an entire day, exhaustion. That's it. Like that simply.
Yep.
Like swimming for an hour, exhaustion, you die.
Yeah. But you still get fortitude saves though for those, right?
Right. Yeah. You get fortitude saves to not get the exhaustion point, and there's a lot of feats and stuff around that. But that's what I'm saying. Like they're built in there on purpose, and 5e just kind of like ignores it. Clone spells. You can make any clone any age, so you would look like a child and still have a wise loaded. Yeah. Yep. I mean, like the clone spell is a perfect example of that, or the jar spell, same thing. It's just like reincarnation.
Yeah, there's a first edition path. I don't think they have it in second edition now because they've changed the way that res spells function. But like first edition there was a higher level reincarnate that let you choose you got to come back to life, but you got to come back in a younger body, and it got to be a different race. So you could basically use the resurrection spell to race swap. But Pathfinder also has what are they called? They have creatures that if you use magic to outlive your normal age by too long, they come and hunt you.
Yeah. There's a third-party class for monk called the Way of the Kidney Punch in 5e that would impose exhaustion levels when you would do Flurry of Blows. Yeah, so you punch somebody 3 times and they die instantly, right? Like, see, that's why it's not there anymore. Since the shell of snails are used, I don't know what word that was supposed to be. Uzalki? Usually, I'm guessing. The most colorful for a dragon snail. What about a color gradient like metallic bismuth? I mean, yeah, if you want to make Druid draw rainbows, that's the way to do it.
That would be very interesting, and I'm confident that I could do that. But
imagine a rogue that doesn't do much damage but gives exhaustion, kind of like a Bleach Soil Fun build. Yeah, that's what poisons are. Yeah, Cosmic Pathfinder. Check it out.
Yep.
Lots of really cool stuff for that. There's a lot of really good poison builds in Pathfinder. The poisons are still too expensive, but some of them could, they could just basically kill somebody. It's great. Kind of like having saving throw debuff spells makes sense. Gives non-lethal attacks more options. Yeah, I think so.
I do like poison better in second edition, but like that is specifically because in first edition Pathfinder, I've generally found the saving throws to be way too low to make them actually functional.
Yeah, you have to specialize in them to make them viable.
Yeah.
And so I think the reason that the cost is so high and that the feats are so high is because if you specialize in them, they get really powerful and you can make them and stuff. And so they basically put the barrier of entry out so nobody will just be like, I'm a fighter with a poison weapon. It's just like, that's not, you don't need that. You don't need to do that. So they really tried to keep it from becoming overpowered, and in the process made it kind of just not very viable at all.
Yes, unfortunately.
So, second edition doesn't have exhaustion, like way we've been talking about it.
What was it? There was something I had.
There's fatigue.
Fatigue, yeah, levels of fatigue, and I think that's why, because exhaustion kind of was a little too broad.
Yeah.
So they've basically made it a condition now.
Yeah, because before it was like -1 to everything, -4 to everything, you die. It's just like that feels excessive.
Because I was looking it up because it's like I've seen a few things where they use the language "you're exhausted" afterwards. I was like, quick Google search. There is no exhaustion, so like
I'll look that up.
Is it fatigue now? It was just there seems just to be like some lack of definition for certain abilities they've not clarified.
Yeah, and I mean like we've run into that I have run into that problem quite a bit, where like I see a thing and it looks like they didn't finish writing it.
It was written for the old version. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a partial. The language is partially carried over from first edition, and they just like never quite got around to finishing it. And I'm anticipating there being a lot less of that with the re-release.
That's kind of my thought. That was one of the reasons I was thinking they were doing it. But I mean, the big part is the OGL, but I think they also needed this. There's a lot of erratas. How would you say that? I bet there might be something like that in there. The perils of adventurers and magical radiation that they're exposed to cause adventurers to grow at a greater rates than other peers. Would make sense.
Yeah.
Non-lethal. Forgot the quotes. Yeah. How that could replace Stunning Strike, and I think that's the point. Like, if a monk could pick Stunning Strike or Fatigue someone to death, everyone's gonna pick Fatigue someone to death.
Yeah, because it's way easier.
It's way easier, yeah.
But also, like, Stunning Strike also needs to have better, like a higher saving throw.
Cosmic, don't take this the wrong way. He said, dang it, I just want stuff in the rule set that I'm already an expert in. 5e is the simplest rule set I think I've ever seen for a tabletop RPG. So, if you want anything more complex, it's probably already, like 3.5, you can do anything. Literally anything. So, there's just so much shit.
Yeah, it's there. Just broaden your horizons, and you don't even need to move away from 5e if you don't want to. You can just
add it.
wrap the new shit into 5e.
Look through the Reddits, because I guarantee you can find these rules for 5th edition.
Yeah,
that people have made up.
Cough, cough. My channel. I don't really talk about. So. Yeah, I don't talk a lot about specific rule sets, but like that was the whole reason I started this channel, is because there wasn't enough cool monster races in 5e.
Yeah. And like sometimes I have a little bit of trouble following how specifically you intend people to like implement the suggestions you're making. But like you always have really good ideas.
Yeah, no poison saving throw is more pathetic than the sprite's poison arrow at DC 5. I like that kind of stuff. I think those 5e has a lot of, I don't know, 5e, second edition has a lot of these in it where it's just like make a flat 6 check. It's like, what? Just roll the dice, roll above a 6. Things happen. Okay, cool. Like that's all you have to do. There's like really small, or it's like I think another one was like roll a d20 and with a DC 2 check, and it's just like, wow, okay. Like for this to hurt you, you really have to screw up, which I think is great.
Yeah.
There's a few monsters that have weird abilities like that, like the Sea Hag and Will-O-Wisps in 5th edition. If you fail, they're really low Constitution saves or will saves or wisdom, whatever, you just die.
Yeah, I
Like,
was gonna say,
instant death.
like I think mummy rot's the same way. It's just like
Yeah.
it's like if you roll, there's like a 5% chance that you just instantly die and can't be regenerated. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay,
But like once you're infected
Every Will
with it,
Wheaton character dead.
yeah,
once you're infected with mummy rot though, like you have to roll that save every day, I believe. I looked at this for the bog mummy that we ran. And the feeling I got with that is the point of it isn't, the point of it was not to be like a sudden kill. The point of it was to be a like, this is a long-term problem and you need to deal with it,
yeah,
or else like you can get lucky 100 times, but the 101st time when you are not lucky, you're fucked, like royally fucked.
I
and
think-
you're gonna need some big magic to fix it.
I think it was originally what I'm thinking of. It might not have been mummy rot, but there was something like that where it was if you failed it, you have to do it every morning, you lose a level, and it's just like that's a problem. And so people could go for weeks without realizing, like, hey, make that save for me. Like, yeah, sure, whatever. It's like, cool, you lose a level. It's like, what? It's like, yeah, you should have taken care of it. Should have taken care of it when you had the chance. Considering how inconsistent Stunning Strike is, it's probably a fair trade. There's some weird stuff about Stunning Strike that I want to look at, because like I feel like part of it is that the DC should be scaled differently. Like people stack dexterity and strength to make the hits, but then don't have the wisdom or the charisma to make the DC land. And you're always trying to like, I'd like to stun the god that we're fighting, please. And it's like, that's never going to work. Just stop
They're
it.
immune to stun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
how
mean,
every
like,
video game we've ever played is. Why should it be different here?
5th edition monk basically suffers from the same problem that Pathfinder's monk and or 1st edition's monk, and I'm assuming 3.5 and probably a bunch of older versions of the monk suffered from, which is specifically that there were too many key stats.
Well, 3.5 was broken really bad because you could essentially, So in 3.5 with the monk, you could punch somebody, stun them, and knock them back, step up, punch, and stun them again. And so every turn, it was just like they spend their turn to unstun, and okay, it's your turn again, and you're stunned again. And you could just stun lock one person down continuously and just punch them to death. It was really strange. So they might have just overcorrected a little bit. I'm not sure. But I've played with a few people that did that. It was just like, damn it, this is bonkers. I rolled a 6. It's a moon sorcerer human variant vampire. Moon sorcerer vampire. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Bri, the bog mummy was fun. I was giddy when we fought it in 2nd edition.
Magical radiation. So all adventurers are magically empowered like the Hulk. That could be pretty funny. Explains wild magic barbarians.
I
That's one way to
know.
look at
I
it.
mean, like, yeah, if you guys are, or if your adventurers are killing magical creatures all the time, you know, that magic dissipates when they die. Maybe they absorb some of it and it empowers them, is what I'm assuming that they're saying. And I'm not 100% down with that specifically, but something along the same idea is kind of what I was thinking for the.
I mean, it's not a
thing that I
bad
was talking
idea.
about.
Yeah, because
No,
if you're constantly
just
being
a
exposed to all of the
it's a
things in
little
an
anime.
adventure,
Yeah,
I mean, like, why not, right?
yeah, it's a little bit comic booky is all. I want to figure out more specifics of it.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's more like the comic that we want it to be. Of just like the act of killing something with magic, just you absorb a small amount of them into your body.
Your soul is.
That's why you have to
mine.
kill something for XP, because it's like a reverse Horcrux, just slowly absorbing everything's power.
Oh no. Bayou Cajun Mummy, yeah, absolutely. So, Bri, the bog mummy that I threw at the party, they had a couple of quests around. I've got basically a drug ring in my world, and the gang that runs it. First of all, the drug is made from hallucinogenic giant spider venom, so that's cool. But the drug ring basically killed somebody and dumped them in the septic system. And the person that got killed was a police informant who had gone missing. And the people found them in the septic field south of town, and they had become a bog mummy looking for revenge.
I had details on that quest, and no one wanted to do it, so I was like, well, okay, I'll just throw it away.
Yeah, I was excited we got that.
We almost died because of 2 feet of snow. I did not want to go into a bog.
I mean, fair. Yeah. I do play a lot with difficult terrain.
Bog sounded
difficult
like...
terrain is still in 5e, isn't it?
Yeah. That's still there.
Well, what I meant was, there was on the community board, non-official quest by the guild, there was someone looking for their cousin.
Yeah.
And if you had underworld lore, you would recognize that there was a little symbol in it that was connected to, I guess, one's like crime guilds or thieves guilds.
Yes,
or whatever.
correct.
That feels like something that you should have told the party, because we wouldn't have known to ask for it. Hey guys, check this out.
This poster has Thieves' Cant. Yeah, I have to use Underworld lore because Thieves' Cant doesn't technically exist in 5th edition.
Thieves' Cant doesn't make any
second
goddamn
edition.
sense. I'm just gonna
I mean,
put that
fair, but like, yeah, it's still potentially useful. I've used it in a lot of situations in past campaigns to give rogues a little bit something extra in terms of picking up information, which I always thought thematically that's what it was for. Now I've just adapted Underworld lore to allow me to do the same thing, basically. But yeah, no, there have been multiple instances where you guys don't share information among party members, and I'm just like, fuck. How am I ever gonna pursue stories?
Yeah.
I've stopped doing that because last time I gave everybody these notes. I wrote notes to everybody and I passed them out, and everybody shared except for Lars. And Lars was like, "My character can't read," and I'm like, "So do you want someone else to read it?" He's like, "No." And I'm like, "I'm glad that's the only note that had any information on it for the entire party." So I will no longer do it. I will no longer try to. Yeah, I will give at least 2 people information. Is my new rule. What were you saying, Corvus?
I was just thinking, yeah, I probably should have shared, but also I wasn't totally sure. Like at the time, I was like, am I like turning this person over to crime lords? Because I don't know if Somar would have done that. So that's like that was my initial hesitation. Like,
I think that goes in with that same point. It's just like if it's something you need your party to know, you can't rely on a character to give the information out, right? Because unless you know exactly how that character is going to respond, it's not consistent enough.
And if it's needed information, I really, really, really try to only give that when everybody's at the table, so that everybody can either see you, the player, make the decision to fuck over everybody else at the table by withholding the information, or everybody gets the information.
I'm gonna catch up on chat real quick here.
Yeah.
1D&D looks like they're going to dumb it down even further. D&D is evolving from a game of library nerds to a game for 5-year-olds. I don't know about that specifically. I think 5e is the more accessible one. I still think it's like, 10, 12 plus. But it's just 5e is highly accessible, and then you can add all the older editions in. So I really, once again, I can't tell people enough to just, if you feel like 5e is too simple, that's what it was intended for. Add to it. Just keep adding old stuff to it. There's nothing stopping you from doing that, unless you're playing Adventure League.
Homebrew people.
Yeah. It's better to be really fun and venting into the slums and the sewers. Nice, Oliver. I hope that goes well. Sewer crawls are fun. Bring antidotes. It's my one. Yeah. Yeah, sewers are good. One person, single target, CC effects are rarely powerful. I disagree with that. I mean, like, I love that for I think people often equate like CC, like crowd control, on a single target as not being as good as just killing the target, which might be the case. But why would I stun something when I can just kill it? If your character can just kill it, then you shouldn't be doing crowd control. That's the thing. Like, you depends on what you're filling for the party. And I think CC can be very powerful if used correctly. So he's holding a crystal ball with a night sky in it. What are we talking? Oh, Oliver, is that the... Oh, okay. I assume this is yours. I was going to draw a sexy lady elf, but if it's a dude, I can switch that up. Perhaps treats magic like energy. Magic can neither be created nor destroyed. That's how I always do it. I always like having a little bit of physics with magic. It's fun. Saying that many of 20th level characters evolved into demigods. It makes sense. Yeah, hitting level 20, you are essentially a demigod at that point. Like, you have the power to do so. And then you just need a ritual to become more powerful. It's great. When dragons die, the elemental energy does not soak the land they died. I like that idea. Does soak the land. Okay, I like that idea.
Yeah. Well, I do that too.
Yeah.
Like, you guys have gotten a little bit of that in my world. The dwarven capital city is built in a volcano that is active because it's the site where they killed an ancient red dragon.
Yep, I like that idea.
I've been there.
Yeah, but you haven't really.
Yeah.
I haven't had the chance to describe it for you.
I've only
I haven't
seen
built it yet.
I've only seen Thieves' Cant used a few times in games, like really well. Most of the time when I see Thieves' Cant, it's like, here's a note that looks completely like gibberish, and it's just like, that's obviously suspicious, because like that's the way you would describe something to somebody, right? It's just like, here's a note, and if your thief isn't someone who knows Thieves' Cant isn't reading it, then they just wouldn't pick it up. Like, that's the whole purpose of Thieves' Cant, is that you can't discern the thing from it. So at that point, you might as well just write it in another language. And that's what I see. Most of the time I see people use it as Thieves' Cant is another language. And so that way they're like, you find this note that just doesn't make any sense. Maybe it's Thieves' Cant. You could have just said, oh, it's Elvish, right? And then you still have to find somebody that can read Elvish. I think Thieves' Cants should always be disguised as something else. Like, here's a letter. And then if someone with Thieves' Cant sees the note, they can pick something out of it. I think if someone can realize that Thieves' Cants exist in the letter, it's bad Thieves' Cant. And so it's generally not a good way to disseminate information to the party unless they're looking for it, because it's so Spartan of an effect that sparse of an effect that the right person reads the note.
Yeah, I actually think that my favorite instance of like a good application of Thieves' Cant actually comes from Skyrim. Because the Thieves Guild has shadow marks, so like they're hidden extremely well, but there are little marks that tell you like if there's a safe house for the Thieves Guild, or like who is a fence.
Yeah. Hobo writing.
Yeah.
Basically.
So there's ways to do it well, but like I generally agree with you, which is why Corvus was the only person who got that information.
Yeah.
And I'm not like really actually butthurt about the fact that I could only like really give that information to Corvus because of the nature of the game that we're playing. It's not like a really big important story, so it didn't really matter that nobody else got that information.
I'm more butthurt at Lars for the same thing, because
totally fair.
Like that's the whole that's my argument. Once again, like the red herrings suck if the wrong person gets it or people don't understand it. It's just very frustrating.
Or refuse to engage with it.
Refuse to engage with it. I'm maybe confused. Sorcerer, vampire, man. I think it said human, and so and because human, vampire, end of the moon made me want to draw more Lilith stuff.
An elf.
Yeah. I did making him an elf.
Sorry, I didn't share the information, guys. I'm sorry.
I have never played Diablo. I love Lilith's design. I'm digging a lot of the commercials.
And came out today, didn't it?
It did.
Or
If you
early release?
Yeah, the early release is out today, so I can't play it until next week. But that's fine. Gives me time to actually do some work.
Yeah, it's probably better for your eye if you don't if you don't play a super high density game for a week anyway.
I agree.
Yeah, so no Final Fantasy Rook.
I mean, that's not part of my rules.
Fuck you.
I just have to not. I can't lift heavy objects. Can't bend over. That's about it. Those are the rules I got.
So are you drawing a fire snail druid?
Yeah. It's it's an awakened snail draconic bloodline.
Love it.
So I'm basically color palette swapping a scaly-footed gastropod, which are the fuzzy snails that have magnetite shells that eat iron and incorporate it into their shells so that they're actually magnetic.
Real life elemental slugs.
I didn't think about the implications of them being magnetic. That's weird.
Yeah, they are actually ferromagnetic. It is very weird.
I knew some. I didn't know them personally. I knew of some people. That's a better way to say it. That were biohacking themselves by implanting magnets into their fingers and different locations on their body, so that they could sense magnetic fields. And it's like, that's bizarre, but they did it.
Weird.
Yeah. And so they could they implanted very tiny earth magnets into each of the joints on their fingers so that they could feel magnetic frequencies. It's super strange, but it's like, that's a thing that you can do. That's how fish do it. Super strange. I wish materials could achieve demigod strength at 20. Marshals? And if that bar were considered a demigod, the gods are weak and easily usurped. I mean, if you're a level 20 character, you can essentially punch a god to death. So I think they're there. If you want to play it raw, that's it. Like, the thing about raw though is that all the gods are immortal, so it doesn't matter. Like, you can defeat their avatars, but they still exist.
Yeah.
Caden Killian
You
did
gotta
it.
make sure you get the really good magic weapons.
Yep. Caden Killian became a god raw.
Yeah.
But that was Pathfinder. So once again, play Pathfinder. Cosmic. All of your problems will be solved if you start playing Pathfinder.
Yeah, pretty much.
Stop playing 5th edition. 5th edition is restrictive on purpose.
Yeah. If your players want to become gods, there is not only lore for that, there are actual established mechanics for that.
Yep. Just play the Kingmaker? Is it Kingmaker? Or is it Sunstone? I can't remember it.
I think
can't
Wrath of
remember.
Righteous is probably more of becoming a god, because Kingmaker makes you a king.
Okay. One of them you become a king, and one of them you have to do the challenge to become the I can't remember.
Starstone?
Starstone? It might be Starstone, yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
It's a star something. And it's like first of all, you have to be able to travel planes in order to get to the challenge. And then I don't know what the quest line is specifically, but it might involve killing a god because you might have to displace.
Well, it's
a
different.
deity.
It's different for everybody. Was
Is
I think
it?
the initial
Oh.
intent. The Starstone was the thing that killed all the the reason the Drow exist.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's from Earthfall.
The Earthfall,
when
yeah.
the big asteroid was pulled in by the aboleths to kill all humanity.
Gotcha.
And so now there's the Starstone remaining. They built a city around it, and people come from all over to try to take on its challenge, whatever that is. And I think there's 3 people that succeeded. There's Caden Killian, Nathus, and one other person. Maybe Nathus didn't do the Starstone. I think he might have
No,
just.
yeah, I think Nathus.
He
like,
nuked himself into godhood.
Yeah,
Nathus did it truly raw. Like
he learned everything in the universe and it exploded.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
The one
And
you're
then-
thinking of is Eomade and Nogrebur.
Yeah, Eomade, that was the...
And part of Nogrebur's thing is, I think part of his way of becoming god was for his sons was he basically gave up his real identity, and when he was immortal, it's like if someone finds out, it's kind of implied that he loses his godhood.
Interesting.
So like he keeps every bit of information that
He's
he
the
was
god of
when
secrets,
he was
right?
immortal. Yeah, like he's like the thieves' god. There's like assassins, of alchemists, poisoners.
His name has always made me think that he was like an orc
Right.
god or a goblin god. Yeah.
Nurgreburr.
Can't remember what Iomade did. I think Iomade did it like straight up. Just like classic
Yeah.
adventure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like set out to do it and succeeded.
Yeah, well, I know she, from the bits I've read, she was like a herald, became like a living herald for a god.
Yeah.
And when he bit the dust, because he was the one who raised the Starstone out of the ocean,
She took over.
and he kicked the bucket, and like so she kind of took on the challenge to get his power.
That sounds right.
I do
Probably also why
also
she's a-
like, I do also love Pathfinder because of queer representation among the gods. Like Corvus, you sent me that thing, but happy Pride, everybody, by the way.
Oh yeah. Happy Pride Month. Kind of do that anyway. Sensing magnetic fields, real sensitive to some TVs and computer screens, massive headaches and static fields. Man, anybody that was born after, I don't know, year 2000, you never had to deal with CRT monitors. Woo, boy.
Yeah.
They used to give me such a bad headache because I could hear them. I could hear them from wherever you were in the house. If a TV turned on, like, I could hear it.
Wow, I didn't have it that bad.
I could hear it when the TV was off but still plugged in.
Yep.
Some days, like if it was
Ugh.
particularly a loud one, I was like, mm-mm. It's always
Capacitors,
the
man.
smaller ones for me that was always would do that. I don't know why.
Like the idea that every time the material plane survives an apocalyptic event, we get a new race. I mean, yeah, that's about right.
Why not?
You're talking about Mask, the God of Thieves? Most likely, yeah. So, like, a lot of the Pathfinder gods are just reworks of the Pantheon.
The Dungeons and Dragons.
D&D.
back then.
Yeah. Spell an Orcus lore
Forgotten Realms.
in D&D that was like a power word kill for deities. He had a group of gods to ban it. Or you could make it a requirement to find and use it. That could be fun.
Okay, so this really is just a palette swapped snail.
You didn't give it dragon horns.
I know, I couldn't figure out where to put them that would look correct.
on the shell, just a
I-
roll of spines.
I thought about giving it like a dragon tail or like little tiny dragon wings off of its head, but I did not love that idea. So
I've got it. You do the Lilith horns, right? You do the Lilith horns, and then you just got to go down and do the big old badoobies. And done. It's a Lilith snail.
Lilith is a demon, not a dragon.
Close enough. I don't know if there's any dragons in Diablo, now that I think about it.
I've not heard it.
I don't think there are. I mean, there's huge demons, but like, I don't think dragons exist. That's interesting.
Hang on, Jared. I got something for you. Sorry.
Yeah, Cosmic. Essentially, I really think you should check out 3.5. 3.5 or Pathfinder. I think you would enjoy them much more than 5e.
Oh God, Corvus, what is that from?
Looks like SpongeBob.
It's a yokai. Well, it's from Japan. Basically, a snail who lives on a mountain for 1,000 years and eventually moves its way down to the ocean where it lives for another 1,000 years and becomes a dragon. Crickets.
That sounds like a legitimate story. Was it a joke? I
Yeah.
missed the joke. If it was a punch.
No, it was just like there was no response or like laugh or it was like, okay.
Seems legit.
Did this- Yeah, it's really common in Japanese folklore for animals who live for a very long time to like gain sentience and magic powers, i.e., foxes and raccoon dogs.
Yep.
And it always involves growing something else. Like foxes get 9 tails. Tanukis get massive testicles.
I was gonna say they just go all out on the balls.
Yep.
It's not sexual. It represents prosperity and wealth.
Quit sexualizing my testicles. People need to chill out. Human body's funny.
Yep. Human
Uh,
body is kind of a joke.
yeah. Lore-wise, someone invented a spell to take the place of a god in their domain, and Mistress saw that and went, nah, y'all stuck 9th level or lower. I mean, yeah, the whole... So... the reason 9th level spells don't exist anymore is because 3.5 broke the game.
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
You mean 10th level spells?
10th level spells, yes. Sorry, 10th level spells broke the game. So, the wizards
Second
like...
edition Pathfinder is 10th level spells now.
Because
And
there's
they're
no
all
reason not
useless.
to. There's no reason not to have them.
A broken game isn't fun for anyone.
I mean, yeah. 3.5 is a lot of fun. You guys should definitely play. Oh my god, cat. What are you doing? I'm gonna turn you into soap. I'm gonna make cat soap, and I'm gonna sell it on the internet as the most annoying soap in the world.
Oh dear.
Get.
You know damn well that the internet will not buy cat soap.
Not this annoying ass cat. He's just trying to cause trouble. They won't buy it because it's made out of cats?
Yes.
Or
because not because your cat is too annoying, but because annoying cats are adored and revered. Doesn't matter how much your cat resembles an internet Karen, it's still a cat and therefore is perfect.
My cat resembles an asshole 100% of the time.
Well, all cats show you their asshole. It's part of their personality, it's part of their charm. Unashamed and
Soap.
entitled.
Turn them into soap. All right. What were we talking about before Pixel decided to destroy my desk?
10th level spells.
Oh, 10th
Yeah,
level
10th level spells
Yeah.
and 3.5 and why people should look it up.
Might be cool to bring
And
back the spells
implement
back as an item. I mean, you just bring all the spells back. You can totally do that. Just 3.5 it up.
Or Pathfinder. I love so many first edition Pathfinder spells. Like 5e has no spells and no magic items comparatively.
Yep.
Google the list of wondrous items for first edition Pathfinder. Most
There's
of them
a
belong
book
in
of them.
5e.
There's
Yeah.
a book of
There is not just a book, Rook, there's a textbook of
Yeah.
them.
I would love to see a Jorogomo spider.
Umo.
Gumo?
They're spider ladies.
Variant for the Loth followers. You can do that. Cat, what is your problem? Is it 3 o'clock? It's not 3 o'clock. You want to go back outside? Okay, I'm gonna go throw this cat outside. I'll be right back. Hold on. Let's go. No, yet. Why are you screaming? Go on.
Which I think are in Pathfinder.
What are?
Jorogumo. The spider ladies. Spider harlots. Literally
they're-
translation.
I would not be surprised. There definitely are driders though, and and drider ladies are sexy, and drider dudes are horrible tarantula-faced monstrosities.
So an Ettencap. Or Ettercap.
Ettercaps are different, but yeah.
Close enough.
I love Ettercaps. Ettercaps are fun.
But also, Cosmic, if you really just want to stick with 5th edition, that's fine. I also love 5th edition, but I don't have the luxury of playing 5th edition, so I'm stuck with 2nd edition. Pathfinder.
Cool.
All right,
We're
here's my
not
argument for
saying
why...
abandon 5th edition. We're saying like look at all the
I
other
know.
stuff that's there and incorporate what you are missing in 5th. That's all.
Yeah.
I just want to make one more cat soap joke.
Play.
Oh.
Yeah, one more plea
Go
for
on.
cat soap. I walk him towards the door. He screams at me the whole way and then stops at the food bowl and just screams at me. And then I kick the food bowl because it still has food in it. And he goes, oh, okay. He's an idiot. He's an idiot and an asshole. What were we
All
talking
cats.
about? Two cats just hanging out.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I've decided to add horns and big old nasty spur spikes to this shell.
I tried to make this a very pretty boy vampire.
So, Underworld Vampire.
Yep. Maybe more eyeshadow.
Because I will say, Buffy vampires are not that attractive.
Oh, so ugly. They did such a good job. Terrifying.
I feel like the person who designed them worked on the Meatloaf music video.
Oh, probably. It wouldn't surprise me. at all.
Because it's just, he's basically wearing the exact same makeup as like when they shift into their vampire form. Like,
My face is contorted and weird.
These prosthetics are made out of rubber cement.
It's polyurethane. Yeah, essentially, I really think, like, when 5e came out, lots of people were mad. Which I feel like I'm getting a lot of that towards D&D 1. Like, it's just dumbed down, it's gonna be bad. You're not the first person to say that, whoever said that earlier. But, like, that's what people thought of 5e, because 3.5 is so robust. But the big thing that people didn't realize coming off of that was, like, 4th edition was in between 3 and 5. And I almost never tell people to play 4th edition. So I think D&D 1 is going to be fine. And if you really do have those problems with 5e, play 3.5. There's nothing wrong with playing older editions of games. I love 2nd edition Pathfinder. I'll probably still play 1e once in a while. It's all backwards compatible. I really like playing 1e, but I really like the 3-point action economy of 2e. So I'm still trying to find a balance of that somewhere in there. But 1e is way less complicated than 2nd edition. And I think it's going to be the same. If you want to play 3.5 and you're really good at 5e, you're not going to have that hard of a time going back to do it. There's already so many books, and it's open source.
Yeah, I was going to say that. It's all the rule sets are on the SRD for 3.5, so it's just completely free.
Yeah, that cannot be removed from the license. They cannot remove it. It is there. It's free for everybody to use forever.
What do you think Tiefling culture would
I
look
still
like?
want to try.
They have a superstition sports horn jousting? Yay. I mean, why would it be different than ours? Depends on where they live.
Tieflings are not a race. They are not a whole people. They are a group of people who have outsider bloodline.
Yeah.
So, like, saying that they have like their own specific culture, I think that's kind of silly. Their own subcultures, sure, but like their own specific culture and superstition, I think that's going a little bit too far for me personally.
They're all punk.
You're extremely wrong, but I think 10th and above spells exist, but I think the lower beings have extremely limited abilities to use them. I think the first use of the spell is automatically to fail. After that, you might have a chance of succeeding. I saw a few YouTube videos explaining it, but in my opinion, using the excuses I saw in a YouTube video is a valid quoting Wikipedia these days. Yep. I mean, everything I read is total bullshit. So that's why I always tell you to talk to your DM, because that's kind of the point.
Yeah. I also kind of wonder about the actual official existence of 10th level spells, because all of those YouTube videos about like this exists or why you should play this, like half of that stuff comes from 3.5. Most of that is not officially 5e. It's stuff that they have that the people who run those channels have taken from older editions.
Yeah.
Problem with trying to play other editions in systems is going to get others to play and come with. Yeah, do it. I mean, like that's the thing. I think it's more likely that you're going to get a small group of people to play a different system than convincing WotC to add shit you want into their game system.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah. As for like the spell level thing, like there's just open the 3.5 10th level spell slots and give them to your players. That's it. Let's just do it. Just let them do it. I do that all the time. I'll give people Pathfinder abilities. I'll give people Pathfinder class skills in 5e because I think they're more interesting.
Yeah.
There's nothing stopping you.
And so many Pathfinder items.
Oh, so many Pathfinder items.
So many Pathfinder items. I basically do not use 5e items. I more or less, when I'm running 5e, say, you know what, like, fuck this shit and just look at Pathfinder items. We'll use that.
Gloves of storing. So cool.
Love the Pathfinder pouch.
Yep, Pathfinder pouch.
Which, for you guys who might be curious, a Pathfinder pouch is basically like a thieves version of a bag of holding. It looks like a purse, but it holds as much as a bag of holding. And it's keyed to the owner, so only the owner can open it.
What's the other one? There's also a handy haversack is 5e, right?
Yeah. Although I believe that actually existed in Pathfinder.
I think it
first.
did, yeah. Because it's essentially just a backpack that always gives you what you want. Like you don't have to dig through it. It's like, I need rope. I'm like, that's a cool item. I like that. All right, I think I gotta call this one here. What time is it? 2 o'clock? I can keep going for another sketch, I think. Actually, Druid, how are you? You've done 2 today. I don't want to force you to do another third of these caliber.
I'm almost done. There's no way I could get a third one of these done.
Okay, I think I'll finish up this guy. I'm gonna give him some cool details. Put a moon tattoo on his head, one on his chest.
As per usual, I did too much. Hold on, just a second. I gotta go to the door.
Lilith horns. Yeah, I don't know. I think it does feel like we are constantly telling people to go play Pathfinder, but really what I should be saying, a better way to say it is just like, don't feel obligated to only do 5e stuff. If you're playing 5e, keep playing 5e because you like it. But there's no reason not to look at 3.5. There's no reason not to look at Pathfinder. Like they're compatible systems. You just have to be aware of how you have to build them, because like Pathfinder, instead of giving advantage, has a lot of pluses and minuses. Pathfinder also has minuses, which is a thing that 3.5 has as well. So if there's something in Pathfinder you like, look and see if it's in 3.5, and then just convert it from 3.5 to 5e.
Pathfinder is also a D20 system, and functions off the bones of D&D.
I think a lot of the animosity about like, I need it to be raw, I want it to be in 5e. Why isn't it in 5e? Is because people don't want to have to talk to their DM or put in the effort to create it themselves. Partially because they don't want to have to try to argue with their DM to make it work. And and that if that's your situation, I'm sorry, that sucks, because like if your DM doesn't want to allow you to do that kind of homebrewing, that's a detriment to the game in my opinion. But it's ultimately it's their choice. That being said, I've always had very open conversations with my DM about that kind of stuff, and so when I sit down and someone comes up to me and says, "Hey, I want to do X that's not in the book, how do we do that?" That's how it should be brought up, not here's the rules I'm using, it's in the book, I'm allowed to do this, right? Like that, which I feel like is something that pops up from time to time. Humans have wide smattering of cultures. I wonder what they would look like in more extreme differences. I mean, yeah, I think that's what I'm saying with tiefling specifically. Like tiefling, depending on where they're from, are going to have completely different experiences than anyone else. D20 adjacent. Close enough. A good point.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Sorry, I'm back. What you just said is basically my argument for subculture, not an actual culture. Like think of it like in America, like there's black communities all over, and most of them have like very specific subcultures, and it depends on if they're from Africa or from say Tonga or one of the other Pacific islands. Like being tiefling should be similar to that, in my opinion. Like you have a subculture based on where you grew up and maybe the religion that fostered your birth. I don't know.
But it should be really based around where you are currently living. So I think that's what you're doing,
yeah, exactly.
So tieflings from the city of Brass are going to be way different than tieflings that live in winter. I almost said Winterfell. That's not right.
Neverwinter?
Neverwinter. There we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Message
Like,
redacted.
I just imagine the ones from City of Brass are just even more fiery.
Yeah.
Like, if Freeds and Tieflings get together.
I think so. I think that's a really nice. I like that for the tieflings. Kind of a Freedies. Because then you would have a Fritz with horns. And then you would also have just like kind of generic tieflings with fire properties. Just depends on how it manifests itself.
Oh, that reminds me. I think it's one of the books where they have like a Fritz for second edition, like more feats for him.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the art for him is a Frit catfolk.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
It's like all its like spots are like little fire spots.
I did that earlier.
That is that's the artwork on the 2E Nexus.
Is it?
Yeah.
It is 2:00. I think we're probably gonna call it there. I'll burn it out. I'm gonna try to work on a commission this afternoon a little bit. I already had lunch. I had lunch early today. What do, Cat? Yeah? What's up? You wanna go outside? You want more food? Alright.
Always wants more food.
You're pretty cute. You're just real dumb.
This makes it more cute.
So you see tieflings more as Italian Americans versus just Italian in American vibe. Fair enough.
Yes.
But it feels bland.
Yeah, that's exactly how I see tieflings.
I mean, I think... Yeah, because what you're asking is basically the... what's the cultural heritage of outsiders or half
Yeah.
outsiders? It's like there's so many different types of outsiders, as well as if you're only looking at tieflings as humans and a specific outsider, sure, like you could build an entire city around that or a culture around that. But for the most part, I like there's just a tiefling can be anything. So
Yeah.
I much prefer that methodology to it.
Same.
And so if that's what you're asking, I would say build a city and a civilization you like around that tieflings would have. So what would a city of just tieflings have? I don't know, more horned like jewelers than hairstylists in a normal society. Maybe they'd play football without helmets. I don't know. Like I don't know what they would be different, because it really depends on the outsiders you're picking. Tieflings have always been kind of bland to me because they're just like, what if demons, but not all demons? It's like, just be all demons. There's nothing wrong with that.
Why do all demons have to be evil? What if you've got a demon who's raised in the mortal plane and realizes they don't have to be full of shit and evil and nasty garbage? Like, there are that's not a new idea. We can do that.
That's like a 20-year-old idea at this point.
Yeah. Older than that, probably.
When did Hellboy won?
Yeah.
I don't remember when tieflings became. I think it was 4th edition, wasn't it? When you could play tieflings.
You could play them
I'm
in
sure.
3rd edition.
3rd edition, okay.
Because they were part of the Planescape book, so that's where we get Azamar, Tieflings, and Genasis for
Gotcha.
D&D.
Gotcha.
There's a tiefling kingdom in 4E that was
Yep.
wearing the dragon. Interesting. I don't know.
Oh,
Write it up.
the look for the Tieflings in the early part of 5th edition are basically ripped from 4th edition's art for Tieflings,
I just
where
keep.
they were homogenized.
Okay. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Because there was a Fiend folio that they released that they put out like an animation for that I thought was really funny. About a kobold with his badger. Pretty great.
Oh, yes, the little gnome.
Yeah, the no, that's what it was. He's my minion. They give me minions now.
Yeah,
They gave me all this
We're
sweet
the-
loot to give away to adventurers that come by my castle.
yeah, because gnomes weren't a playable race until they released the 2nd player's handbook for 4th edition.
Okay. That's what I was thinking
the
of.
weird thing. Yep.
Both species were retconned. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think a better question would be what would the culture look like in the city of Brass, right? Like that's really what your question should be. And then if part of your answer to that is, well, there's a large tiefling population, that could affect, what the culture of that place would be like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Different kinds of, maybe they're all if they have goat feet instead of feet, then, boots are going to be different.
Yeah. And
like, that's all world building though. Like which I think is good.
yeah. Maybe paving is different. Maybe everybody has to wear horseshoes.
Yeah.
Depending on how the paving wears their footsies.
I think that highlights the dilemma of planes with set alignments. Personally, having a place with a default alignment is interesting as it creates tension with planes that collide. Yeah, I agree. I think it's kind of weird. That's which is why I think the alignment system is just kind of stupid to begin with. But if you're looking at like multiverses, I could definitely see looking at planes as like a whole, like the gradient of it. You could definitely say that like this one is more skewed towards something. There's probably still people there that aren't that way. Like, people are going to be people regardless of where you go. But, if you bump into, what is it? Fascist Morty. And then man, a lot of these places are going real fascist. I think that makes sense too. Like, but that's more of a moral thing than a alignment thing. Just like, if everybody here agrees on something that maybe another plane doesn't agree with, you might think, oh, that's evil aligned, even though there's not everybody there is evil. Everyone's just skewed that way. So,
Yeah.
There's different ways to look at it.
I was wrong in my edition. Tieflings were playable in 2nd edition.
Is it 2nd edition?
That seems really early to me.
And
Interesting. I would not have
see,
expected.
they had a major like aesthetic departure in 4th edition because 4th edition was basically 5th edition is more or less a child of 4th edition, where they made everything homogenized, like things look more similar. So like all the tieflings with their weird kind of style of horns and like solid color eyes, that's a 4th edition thing.
Hmm. This snail is way too dark colored to be on a pure white background.
Because this was the character art they had for them in 2nd edition.
Nice. Little
And
goat
I
people.
believe that was specifically for Planescape. So I guess I thought Planescape was only for 3rd, but I was wrong.
That looks good, Drew.
Thanks.
I am gonna call it. Falling asleep. Thanks everybody for hanging out today. Thank everybody for your well wishes. I am feeling better. Hopefully I will continue to progress. I can't see mostly now. Things are less blurry, which is really good in my right eye. I do have a weird spot, which hopefully will go away. Partially from the laser, partially from swelling, so we'll see how that goes, but overall, looking up. I can use both eyes again, which is great. So, woo!
Yay.
We'll see how that goes here in the future. As for a new video, hopefully we'll have working on that next week. I finished up most of my commissions. I have one more commission to start. I might start it today, just get the sketches down and then work on that. And then I think I'm out of commissions. So if you would like to commission something, or you have one that I have forgotten about because it's been a weird week, please let me know. I think that's it though. And yeah, commissions are open. We'll start working on a video otherwise next week, and we'll have some fun with it. More shorts, I guess. I'll try to think about some. I want to do some more animations. I think that's the next thing I might work on after the commissions. So we'll go from there. But yeah, that's all I got. Hope everybody had a wonderful time. See if we can find anybody else to raid. On Friday. Nope. Okay. That's all I got. Stay happy. Stay healthy. Keep your dice on the table. And we'll catch y'all later. Thanks again, everybody. Bye.
Bye.